kick the show off right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with me, cause
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight.
let's get the topic straight, let's get things good, let's do everything that we should.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
Let's open our minds and take out our style. Let's see what's going on in the world tonight.
It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right. It's Project Open Mic. Let's have a good show tonight. It's Project Open Mic. Let's kick the show off right.
All right, guys, what's going on? This is your boy Take for Project Open Mic. It's been an interesting day. How technical issues as usual in a certain way, but I want to shout out again people at Tempo FM. I basically started a podcast with them. We have about 24,000 people in the building. Thank you guys again. You know what to do. If you go to YouTube, you go to so we expanded more, but now we added on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and Uplays on is another platform we just got onto. So we added more platforms combined. So hope we keep on expanding. So the reason we have that much people in the building is why, because the topic tonight was very interesting, but a lot of people were saying. So with that said, I just want to talk about it out, and then we'll go from there. I put my lovely mug on the screen. I hope you guys are going a good night. So like I said, y'all joining now because we already been streaming already on Tempo FM. So shout outs to YouTube, Facebook, ULive, and also Twitch. So tonight, this show is gonna be you see in the title, and then, like I said, the chat has been crazy saying stuff in Tempo FM, so that's why I liked it. But tonight's show, some stuff has been happening lately, and I want to speak on some of these things now. So basically, I'm gonna have to repeat for those who are joining the Tempo. Sorry that you're gonna hear the same thing over and over again, but hey. So the reason for Project Open Mic, the reason I started this show was I had a couple people, as you see, I try to join in, and we have different topics, different conversations, trying to get things done. Now, to be 100% honest, it's one of those things where I had a lot of people wanted to be a part of it. Some can do because of certain things. I understand that, not knocking those people who can. But I'm just saying, there were things that was, people said they will do it. Oh, this would be a great idea. Let's have it. So we could talk about all kind of stuff from whatever it is. Of course, I started it, and it didn't go the way that I thought it would go, and people would have jumped into it. Again, it is what it is. Not saying negativity, just that it's not what it is. I wanted it to be open, have a conversation. I wanted to have like a call and all that stuff. But of course, COVID knocked a little craziness in it, and then people, the economics of people, working more longer hours and everything, getting there. So like I said, I can't knock them for that. So since I started, I took up the mantle. So this literally became a continuation of Radio T3, which I had a radio show from 2012 all the way to 2015 on Tempo FM, which is broadcast in Europe, and it broadcast mostly some parts of the world, but it was basically a music show / topical show that we talked about topics and stuff like that. So this is where Project Open Mic has evolved into because of that. I didn't want it to, but if I'm the only person going to be platforming on it, I still am open to other people. As you saw, I had a female with me inside, have a girl with me inside here with us talking about stuff and talk with other guys and still with Doc and Ken and all this stuff. So we'll have that. Now, point taken. I've seen this in the comments many times, and I'm just gonna address it. Project the show, because people never. I am trying to have a line basis of things, just so people get things straight. I am biased. You're biased. Anybody that's lived to a certain age, past 5 years old, is biased. So I'm not gonna be one of those fake people who's like, oh, I'm gonna give you my unbiased opinion. That's a lie. That doesn't happen. Everybody has a bias. The way you're supposed to be is, I'm gonna give you my objective view of things. Objective. That's what it is. But I have a bias, and I gladly put it on my sleeve. I've said it before, so I'll say it here again. I'm a libertarian. Politics, libertarian. Don't like the left, don't like the right. There's some things the left do I like, a lot of stuff on the left I hate. There's some things on the right I like. A couple of hypocritical stuff on the right I don't like either. Hell, for some libertarians do some crazy stuff that I'm like, I'm not full-blown libertarian. I try to be as balanced as I can. Balance in showing balance. What I mean by that, like, look at both sides and see what it is. But that's our objective view. My biases comes through this. When it comes to you doing nothing, if you ain't hurting nobody and you're not something that will affect the society as a whole in a certain way, go ahead and do what you do. I'm liberal. I do not care. You do what you want to do. You want to be, again, for my homosexuals and transgenders and all this stuff and all this, the crazy stuff they want to do, the feminists and everything, do what you do. It's all good. I don't have a problem you doing what you do. That's what you feel, whatever. When it comes to my money, my family, my property, yeah, I'm conservative. I don't want you touching none of that stuff. So that's how it is. It's a mix in that situation. Now, when it comes to people who've been saying stuff through this train of Chasers part of Project Open Mic. Yes, this is something that I'm gonna show you all this stuff right now. I mean, it's like I said, I have no problem with females. I am like the first wave, second wave, like the real like feminists, where it was like, oh, with the right to vote, the right to work, the right to to have legal actions and stuff like that. I have no problem with that, and I'm backing women all up on that. That's good, but it didn't stop at let's just be equal opportunists and all that stuff. It went over. And now we have the third, fourth, and they're poisoning our kids and doing all kind of crazy stuff. And now we got in a society that's very toxic on both sides, males and females, and it's getting, and that's, it's crazy. But I will talk to the men's side more. That's what you see me talk to the guys saying about wrapping up all that stuff more, because the men are really free, young men, young boys, and men itself are basically getting the short end of the stick. If they were just like, and I'll say this, I do not pick up for any guy who do horrible, heinous things. All right, that's why I named the show Men are from Venus, Men are from Pluto. The reason why I said Men are from Pluto, because remember they said Pluto was not a planet, so it's like they're erasing it away from the system. That's what it feels like society is doing today. Women, all the men you see you guys want, and you want a good man and all that stuff. Where the good man at? I'm gonna show you why men don't approach you. I'm gonna show you why these men are so effeminate. I'm gonna show you. Because without that, you could dominate all you want, but it's starting to get. There's the reason why you guys are getting more depression, high anxiety, basically more loneliness than ever before, because they've been feeding you cracker garbage. Now you still gotta make your living, and I have videos that I'm gonna show of women who became pilots, who became pilot mechanics, who became welder. Like I showed a couple of those videos before. I implore women to, if you want to go out there and do things, do it. I'm not gonna ever stop you. If you have the capacity and you have the tenacity to go and get where you want to get, go ahead and get it. I will back you 100%. Why? Because it's showing your effort. You put in that work. But there's a majority of them that doesn't do that and just want the benefits of certain things. And that's why I talk about that. That's why if I have a son, I want this is like me talking to my son. Like when I do these videos in the Straight No Chasers, I don't want my son to get caught up in stuff like this. Like, I think it's crazy that they're dudes who pay OnlyFans and women on Twitch and all that stuff. I did the first video where I talk about men is your fault. Why are you paying a woman you never met, never touched, can't do nothing, whatever? That's why I'm never for strip clubs. It don't make no sense to me. Why would I give money to somebody and I can't do nothing? You're doing a lap dance on me and I can't do nothing to you, that's why I don't have no problem with that. But I'm like, that's a waste of money in my opinion. So I think guys like that, I think guys like that are losers. I will hold men for doing horrible stuff. I always have. You see my past videos, I've done that. Hell, I don't even like the president we have right now. He's a piece of crap. I'll hold him for all the dumbness he's done. It makes no difference. But I talk to young boys and put this out because there's not many platforms out there for men. Look at all the late nights. Look at all the stuff. Look at all the videos that the South Raphael, the old Olaf. You'll hear it. I'll show you what it's all about. They don't care. And if anybody steps up, or if a woman steps up, don't call out. You show misogyny, right? 1, 2. Another thing is about the whole politics thing. Yes, I speak on politics in Project Over Mike. Project Over Mike is a topical show. Side chat, we do more into this. This one right here is special because I want to show these points right here. And Straight No Chasers is basically what I feel like I want to react to and talk about, and that's what it's called, Straight No Chasers. I'm not doing anything. I'm just giving you as it straight is. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Yes, the politics is what it is. I talk about that more in the Project Over Mike show, but look at the context of what I do, and that's what people keep on forgetting, and people snap in because these shows are like 2-3 hours long shows. What politics is doing is affecting the culture. Literally, I talk about the culture, but because the politics affects the culture, that's why I'm talking about it. Example. That example. I don't even gotta use the current. I could use President Obama. I could use Trump. Their policies that they do affects the culture. Example, like I would say, Biden. He put in men could attend in female sports. Transgender women could be in female sports. I'm against that. I'm not saying you can't be a transgender woman. Go ahead and do that. That's your body. You do what it is. But for men to get in there, like the one that happened at the UFCC fight, where that guy was a special agent, a special Army Ranger, and he got into UFCC and choked out a woman. That dude's a punk. You're a punk. You're a coward. You're a punk. He could beat me up. I know that because you're a special agent. But that's a punk. Why would you do that? Why would you go and think? That affects women. Look at this. You got young ladies who are missing out on college scholarships because of what he signed, which is political. That affects something in the real. That's cultural. That's what I'm talking about when I do some of this stuff. People are like, oh, we're gonna talk about this stuff that happened with the hypocrisy of about mask and all this stuff. But then you see the same people who say mask up, do all this thing, like a Gavin Newsom or London Breed or the mayor of DC, wear their mask when they're out. They don't wear it because they don't care. It's not hypocrisy. It literally is hypocrisy, but they just don't care. All the stars went up to the gala, did all that stuff. They didn't have no mask on. They're like, oh, we got vaccinated. You don't know. They don't. You don't know if they did. They just say it because they want whatever. They don't know. They go on the honor system while everybody else had, all the regular servers and everything had masks. We don't know. It is getting crazy. It affects the culture. And right now, society and culture is on a downswing. I'm sorry, it is. So that's why that's where most of my stuff is at. Yes, it's political. Yes, but again, to the F's I don't give to the politics per se. I will say I'll give you an example again. Yesterday was the 22nd on Facebook. I posted something. Let me on Facebook on my page. Let me see what the response for that was. Let me see the response for what that was. I was right. Two people liked it. Now I have stuff where I put stuff on there and a lot of people like it. Two people like it. The Emancipation Proclamation happened basically was set up yesterday, September 22nd, 1862. If we're gonna celebrate Juneteenth as people want to do, and I got a problem with that. If you want to celebrate Juneteenth, okay. But all the people were like, oh, Juneteenth, that freed the last 300 slaves. We won't celebrate the Emancipation Proclamation that freed millions of slaves. See how the asinine that is? That's why I say that. Another thing is, a lot of people think, oh, they look at the show and they're like, oh, you're animated. Yeah, it's part of the show. I'm entertainment. I speak with my hands, yes, but I'll be entertained and do all the crazy and all that stuff for entertainment purposes and do like that. In most cases, I think only one show had ever got me ticked off. All the time, I just do it for audio effect and visual effects and everything. So I'm not really super angry because I'm not gonna stress my life out for stuff like that. But I do it for verbal effects. Okay, that's why I do this for. But like I said, nobody. Like I said, only one. Like I said, and shout outs to Double A that he shared a post. But like I said, no, that's how it is. That's why I do the show the way I do the show. Okay. I want to get this clear. That's why I did that. Now, let's talk about the situation why I label the show Tonight and why I say I speak to mostly to men because they need outlets. I never understood this, and that's why I'm pointing this out right now. Women, look, and then for the women who are listening to this, like I said, we got 24,000 people now listening. Good, thank you. For the women in this, I thank y'all for those in the group of the men as well. So thank you for listening and thank you for the likes and everything up there like that. Thank you. But I'm saying this. If guys hold other guys, you see, when guys do stupid stuff, like I said, I will never, if a guy do horrible stuff, hit stuff, whatever, without being provoked and all that nonsense, I'm going to condemn the guy. I don't care what it is. If the guy's being, what do I always say? Men are assholes, women are vindictive. I'll admit, I could be an a-hole myself. Not denying that at all. But I've never done stuff horrendous to any female ever. And if a guy is leading a woman on, if a guy is abusing a woman, if a guy is doing acts of violence, I'm not going, even if it's my color or not. Look, I don't even care for my own. Like I said, I've said this before with people. My people are good people. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what race you are. I don't care what color you are. If you're good, you're good. If you're evil, that's why I have the evil all changes, sex, color, race, change. Evil's evil. That's why I have that, because I don't care for that. So if you're a male and you do horrible stuff, I don't care for you. I'll pipe it down. But here's the thing. When people, another example would be like this. Women was like, to show my point like I'm talking about. Women will say, hey, black guys don't take care of their kids. Statistically, that's a falsehood, but they say that. I don't say nothing. Why? Because I know I'm gonna take care of my child if I ever get a child, and so there's nothing to me to argue with that. They say whatever. They're like, oh, and then when you come up with, all men are trash. Well, not all men are trash, just like not all women are bad. But things happen. But we take responsibility to not go through that. But I've seen women who do bad things and other women cheer them on. There's a woman who had 7 kids, 7. And people and then got a lot of women like these. Oh, these are the exceptions to the rules. There are exceptions to the rules, but they are a generality of a lot of stuff happening. More than 50%. That's what we call. That's what we general. That's why I said everything is not absolute, but everything is. We generalize just for the sickness of just making sure, because it's. Oh, I'm not talking about generalize like if it's like 49 to 59%. I'm not generalizing that, because that's not majority. But if it's over 50%, that's majority. So I generalize the numbers in a way, as you can see. Also, in the description, in the YouTube and the Tempo FM and the You Now video are links to what I'm going to show you. Okay, links. You can see, check it, all that stuff. See what I'm talking about. What you want to see, so you don't understand this. Well, I see women. But anyway, this woman had 7 kids. Wasn't taking the kids. CPA came and took the kids away, and she's smoking. I'm happy they took them kids, and she set it up so she set up so CPA on YouTube can on Facebook Live. I remember, so she would get the kids, and she like, get rid of them badass kids. I'm like, I'm not taking care of these bad. I'm like, and then some people was like, wow, you're wrong. You can't, why you did that? While other women's like, girl, how you get rid of all them kids? I got like 5 kids too, but these baby daddies, I want to get rid of all that. That's the crazy part. That's the part I'm talking about. That's the part that kills me. And women are cheering this one on for what she do, calling it, you had them kids. Nobody forced you to have them kids, but you had them kids. And do she go to jail for not having the power to get rid of them kids? No. But if a guy can't go to jail, what happened? He gets child support. I just showed a video about fatherhood. Guy fall behind. He goes to court, loses his job. How should he play with his child support? He's in back collection. It's a messed up cycle. Go watch Project Open Mic Special 2. Check it out. It aired last Friday. It is ridiculous how it's ridiculous how many of this happen, and women will cheer them on. I've seen, again, women who have naturally are beautiful the way God make you, and I think you're beautiful that way. And it's like, oh, this woman having lace fronts and all this crazy stuff, and I'm like, why are you supporting that? That's not you. That is not you. But nobody wants to talk about stuff like that at all. At all, at all, at all. This is not a cool thing. That's all I'm stating out is that. I can't, if I see a guy who's doing bad, I'm not gonna be saying, well, just like, no, I'm not. If he's doing stuff that I won't do, then it's not me. It's not me at all. It is in my degree, it is not good. But what can I say? So with this, I just want to talk about how this works out. Society is going in a weird way. The trends are not going good. People are like, oh, we going with, people look at it like, oh my goodness, like men are, how should I say this? Men, some women have gotten saying that, okay, you should not tell young men to not date single mothers. No, I said single men who don't have children should not date single mothers. if they have more than one child. If you want to be honest with me, that's my true opinion on that. Because it's weird. I've seen videos and I've seen videos, and I've also seen dating apps and stuff. When I go to dating apps to just look at stuff and see weird things, like dating apps and everything. I literally sat on a dating app, right? And we're gonna talk about dating apps as well too. I've literally sat on a dating app, right? I don't have no kids. I'm willing to date somebody with a child, with one child, that would have another child, because I want an offspring as well too. Kind of afraid that I protected myself all the way to 38 years old, but some of y'all can't. If you're married, different story. I'm not talking to you. This show have a lot of qualifiers. Different story, because if you're married, you want a kid. I get that, but I'm talking about those who have like 4 or 5 kids and never was married, never all that stuff. Hell, I could share another video. It's just annoying, but I'm not even gonna do that. But here's the thing that kills it though. But I still get women who got 5, 6, 7 kids are getting to my profile. Do I look that desperate to you? I literally, and unlike other people, I did text back and said, maybe you didn't read my profile, but I said 1 kid. You have several. Sorry, but we are incompatible. I'm like, and it didn't happen not once, twice, 3, 4. Like it happened multiple times. I'm like, why? You made that decision. That's you. I am not gonna. I gave you my stipulation. It's plain and simple, but you don't want to take it. Weird how that works out. But I wanna play something. You'll hear the audio, hopefully. Here's another in another way. Like there's more men, this including the black community as well too. Women say men don't take care of the kids. The reason I say that's a statistical not true, because only few guys who don't take care of the kids, because the rest guys don't have kids, never been married, whatever. They are more, and I'm gonna share the video. There are more virgins now on the male side than females. And because that means females get more promiscuous, more men. I know a couple of guys who I literally talk to, whatever. They're 30, they're 31 years old. They're still virgins. Not a knock on them, but because of how the world has been set up now. Now with the dating app, now with that women have more chances. And always kill me. Women get better chances to, like. I remember when I broke up with one girl, and she's like, I'm surprised, you already got somebody else, blah, blah, blah. Why? Women, Chris Rock said it the best thing again. I'm not a Chris Rock fan now because he's getting more and more annoying. I don't know why. I do not know why. Back when he was younger, he was sharper, he was on it. And everything he said back then was true, but now it's just, I don't know what's going on with Chris Rock. Sorry that he got COVID. Funny enough that he got the vaccine, he still got COVID. So go get a vaccine. Whatever. Anyway. Basically he was talking with Chris Rock. Now I forgot what I was gonna talk about. Where he did stated. Dang it! I forgot it now. It's on the tip of my tongue. Ain't that a son of a gun? I don't. Like I said, I go off a fluid of consciousness when I do my stuff. Okay, well, anyway, it comes even to the black people. Like more black men, more black males have multiple baby mamas. They take care of that. Like I said, they're virgins, so they're not getting. There's more. If the women are more, and they're not like a small number. It's a good 20% gap that women are still less high. Sorry. Men, younger men now are being more virgins than women by 20% gap. That means women are more promiscuous than men. They're having multiple partners than men. Men don't even get in touch to one. That's why it's crazy. Like that's why, like I said, I'm gonna play this part right here, and you're gonna hear some of the stuff. Like how the heck? Well, let's just play. And some of y'all listen to this already. I got a link to this one, but you'll go to Ayala's, own network and hear the craziness. And again, I don't understand God, and I will blame the guys too. Like a PJ Washington and stuff, what he did with Brittany Renner. That was a stupid. The dude was stupid. I will call a dude for being stupid. You know what the woman was talking about. You still fell for it. You're an idiot. I if you are doing it, you still want to have like multiple kids, and it's not like by the same person, but through marriage or something. Again, if it's widowed or something, I get it. That's a whole different story. But if you never been married, I'm like, no, no, and you ain't gonna shame me to do that. Cause it's funny how a lot of y'all want to shame people for that. It's a double standards, and I know there's standards in here. But the reason I'm talking about look at women from Venus and men from Pluto, like it's funny how you go to these dating apps and you see women's like, oh, I want a man 6 feet tall. Like hell, I got a woman. It was a woman who's 45 years old, had 6 kids, 5 kids by one person, never were married, 1 kid by another person. They broke up before the child was born. She said she don't want no baby mama drama. I'm like, but your last one that was toxic, but it's weird. But she want a 6'5" guy. I'm like, 6'5" guy? What? You know the percentage of is 10% of men in America that's over 10 feet, and you want a 6'5" guy? Are you? See, that's crazy. Oh, now I remember the stuff with Chris Rock. Sorry, just like I said, when he pops in your mind and hits you, whatever, how that works out. Like I said, when Chris Rock was saying, from since 14 years old, every time a guy approaches you, they're offering you penis. There always is. Hey, how can I help you with your groceries? Hey, you want some penis? Can I help you with your car? Do you want something like that? Happens. So women got a bigger space of getting any type of man they want. They're pickier, and the thing about it is that 80% of women, even though for black women, which is basically it's 4-to-1 in black woman to male in America, and if you add in the whole guys in jail, which is basically 80% of black guys is in jail, so that makes the pool even more messed up, and make it more shorter for you women. You still want to date the 20%. When a guy's on the same level or whatever, you don't want. Now again, you have your preferences, but some of it is just straight out delusional craziness. And that's what Chris Rock was saying with that. And like he also did a little skit when he was talking about why a lot of men cheat in women's saying all that. You know why men cheat? Because again, men cheat just as much as women. Technically speaking, I feel women cheat more than men, but because women are more sneaky than men. There's a video. Do I have that video up here? I don't think I have that video. I don't think I have that video. Explain. No. No, I don't have that video. Sorry. I don't have that video where this woman basically thought her boyfriend was cheating. He wasn't. She got an email, so she went and cheated on him. Then he was like, yo, I was doing work, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, yeah, you were. I forgot about that. So she deleted emails and stuff like because the guy she was cheating would send some emails and they had a joint account, whatever. She deleted them because he wasn't really paying attention like that. She went back over to the house, chilled with him the Monday, even though she cheated and he didn't, and then dumped him Tuesday because she didn't want that guilt or whatever. I'm like, wow, that's how messed up that is. But dating app has gone a certain way, which I'll share about the dating apps. I'm gonna share about the law system, all about the divorces, how things are, even into the church, where there's a reason why in the black church there's more women than men as well, too, because most of the pastors pander to the women. Sorry, but they do. Majority of pastors pander to the women. And that's why when I see a lot of women with the whole, which is some of my pet peeves, most pet peeves, was like, oh, you can't judge me. Every time I see a woman say you can't, only God could judge me, I know you're gonna be some effed up F coming right behind that. But you can't judge me, but I had sex with 5 different men. You can't judge me, but I killed three children. You can't jump. Like, yes, I can. A judge could judge you because you did a crime. God, in overall, that's God's work. But for what evils you have done, anybody could judge you. Same thing with the men. The problem is accountability. I feel like it's like a kryptonite to some people in that regard. I really do. But let's get on with this. Let's get on. Like I said, I'll just hear this again. This one, I'll play this for a second. See if the audio will go through. Of course, they gotta use a double.
Jay is here also. And we also have 5 other men who have multiple children with different women. Nathaniel, stand up. How many children?
28.
How many women?
16.
Terrence,
4
4
children,
with,
2 different women.
yeah. Ryan,
Almost 5 children with 4.
almost 5.
Yes, I
now
have
talk
another.
to me about an almost 5.
I have another baby due November 22nd.
So 4 children,
4 children.
How many
with
mothers?
4 different women.
4 different women,
Yes.
and you got a baby on the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Huh. And John,
6 baby mothers, 11 children.
11 children. And Jumani,
I have 6 children with 4 different women.
4 different women.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, here's what I want us to get. That these men collectively have 87 children, that includes Jay, with 50 different women.
No man. Okay.
That is
6.
137 people who are impacted by choices and decisions that you've made. No heat, no judgment. I've got some stats for you.
Mm-hmm.
Children who come from fatherless homes. And I say fatherless because 6 men, 87 kids, even if you're there,
Thank
there are
you.
pieces that are going to be missing.
Exactly.
Would that be accurate? And I'm not
Yes.
saying you're not doing the best you can. I'm not saying that you don't want to be there. But at this point now, we have to look at the children's experience. Children from fatherless homes in this country. 5
Okay, before you go in that, and here's the thing. I blame both parties. I don't blame just the women. I blame the men in this too, because what the hell were you doing, dude? Yo, what? 28 children, dude? Seriously? Are you out your flipping mind? You couldn't have a vasectomy. You couldn't wrap it up. You couldn't, whatever. Like I said, they did not grip these women. These women opened their legs to them. So that's what I said. I blame both on this. But that's crazy. That's how it is, right? That's what this in the Black America is. There are more mamas. That's why 74% of visits by single fathers. I mean, have 74% of child born without wedlock and also without their fathers, being that it causes problems, and societies keep on pushing because again, a father who could take care of the kids. I showed a video again last show. I showed a father. He has the child. He has the child, and he still has to pay child support to the mother. Where he has the child, what 80% of the time? Okay, he had it for Monday to 80% of the time. He has the child, and he still has to pay the mother child support. What the heck is that? The system is. That's why I say the politics help you to the system. The system is messed up. But if a mother can't take care of the children, she ain't going to jail. No, she ain't going to jail. She ain't gonna get reprimanded. They have way more ways to not have a pregnancy than a guy. All we have is basically abstinence, vasectomy, which is in most cases is very hard to reverse. It's easier to reverse tube side than the vasectomy because you're cutting stuff, you're cutting this thing, and also condoms. I'm gonna tell you right now. You know why a lot of I swear they're not gonna have a pill for men for whatever, because the powers to be would never want that to happen. To have a birth control for men, because I'm telling you right now, and even if we have that, it's going society will go a little worse, crazier than that. Because not only is just having the kids, again, people doing this when you would get STDs, sexual transmitted diseases. That's even worse in many cases. But here's one of the reasons why I say what I say about stuff, and I want kids. These guys, to me, I do not hold them. No, it's crazy. Now the one that has like 1 to 2 kids, I don't get no in the situation. 2 different. Remember, he married one, had 2 kids, whatever. But the 28 one and the 16 one, hell no. The 17 kids, heck no. You a douchebag, dude. You should have been wrapping it up and do whatever. But I can't blame you only because the females let it happen. Some were tricked. I'm not denying that some were tricked. And those have one child and they were tricked. I feel for you. There's some that was multiple and they know and they just wanted to get it for the money. Let's not pretend this. This is why I call the little shows straight no chasers. I'm not sugarcoating stuff for nobody. I'm calling it as is it is. Some people say it's kind of hard that I'm saying these things and it's harsh. Oh, it's the way you say it. I think you're just coming out on one side, whatever. These are what I'm talking about is facts that I could prove and I could show. So if you don't like it, okay. I'm not talking to most of y'all who get a little agitated, which is weird, and you think I am. Enough. No, I call every person out of it. We are individual people, but where we gotta generalize certain things, we found out there's problems. So again, now Ayana's gonna read why there's a problem with having that. Speak it, ma'am.
5 times more likely to commit suicide than children who have a father in the home. 32 times more likely to run away. 20 times more likely to have a behavioral disorder.
Yes.
14 times more likely to become sexually aggressive or commit rape. 10 times more likely to engage in drug abuse. It just breaks my heart. No heat, no judgment. You, to me, are the voice and the demonstration that's going to create a healing in this world. We have got to do better. We've got to do better.
We got to do better. That's why I tell men, wrap it up, wrap it up, wrap it up. Wrap it the hell up. Do not take any chances.
And what I'm offering is that it's time for brothers to start fathering each other.
Exactly. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I say straight no chasers. That's what I'm trying to tell the young man how to avoid these traps. I'm not going to teach you to be the best of you. I've said that multiple times. If I want the best version of you, that's not my thing. You will go look for the gurus or whatever. Half those gurus, half those men are scam artists anyway. All I'm showing you is watch out for the traps, navigate through the waters of the sharks. You have to, for some reason, you were put, again, I'm using an analogy, but I don't care. It's like women got put in a boat, but you got dropped off in the water full of sharks. She got to just get to the thing. And sometimes some guys would still get into the boat and still drive the woman to safety. Good for them, whatever. But you just got dropped into the water, including if you're a black man in America. You got dropped off in the water of sharks. You need to swim to the island and not get attacked. That's why in a last video I showed and said, you're working hard. There's a pit. The pit had basically vagina in it. And the other side of that pit was success. Basically car, house, job, everything. Keep your head down there, straight out from the head up here. Stay up there. Don't let sex drive you. Don't.
So Jay, let's talk about what life has been like for you since the show has aired. If you watched last week, you know that now one of the 34 is in question.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that situation doesn't surprise me at all. In that particular situation with Ayana, I did not want to deny a child that could potentially be mine. I would rather have accepted my place as his dad based on what the woman was telling me.
She never told him you were his
Absolutely,
father, so.
and as I suspected, the child is likely not mine based on my communication from her and what was revealed. But
how do you, I want to do 2 things. First of all, my intention is to create a safe space for men to examine and discuss the worst of who you are and who you've been, so that we can facilitate a commitment to change. Not to beat you up and not to beat you down, but we've got to look at where this came from in order to build and go forward.
And you know the funny thing about this? Most of those men was born to single mothers. That's why it perpetuated. Back in this, literally, you could check where society has broken down more and more was back in the 60s to 70s. Yes, we got civil rights. I'm happy that we got civil rights. Thank you, Martin Luther King. Thank you, all the civil rights, even Malcolm X, Sister Sherazade Ali, like Joe Brown, like all these. Thank you. But you see, there's a problem. The evil people, and I'm not gonna just be easy this time. The evil people figured out a way to split black people because we were at a higher rate of marriage before the 60s. The family was way more together, and we got broken down. The government found a way, both parties. So like I said, I'm not gonna call a party the party. If you watch my show, you know what it is. But the government figured out a way to separate black man and black woman. That's why Sister Shirley Z was like, when they talk about the woman stuff about, you know, the feminists and everything, and she's like, oh, we go with a white woman. All males didn't have the power as the white man, as she said, and she's correct. But they found a way to split you, and like Judge Joe Brown said, they went to the neighborhoods and asked women, hey, how we could get you to school, we could get you to jobs, whatever. Once the government say, hey, you don't have to have a kid, you don't have to have, you don't have to have a father in the house, and we'll pay for everything. That's where the breakdown start happening, and that's why generational poverty start happening. Single motherhoods push that situation more and more. So when women ask, where did men act like this, whatever, most men are becoming way more effeminate than men themselves. They got it from their mom. The father wasn't there. Yes, the father wasn't there. If the guy was a dead jerk and he didn't take care of his responsibilities, because I always say, guys, take care of your responsibilities. You had this child, you should be there to take care of this child, okay? Point blank, period. But like I stated before, more and more that I do more research and I look at more stuff right now, there's a lot of guys who want to be in their kid's life, but the mother didn't want to do that. So they're not really there to be dad. So I'm not talking for the guys who didn't want to be in their kid's life. Different story. Heck, I know a couple guys who now found out that they had a child by a woman and try to get back into life and still gain problems after they didn't even know that they had children. Again, that's why I put the video up there. And what Anna just said, that is important. Why it is 80% of guys that's in jail is because they was raised by single moms. Now, of course, there are people in there who have two parents who came jerks and stuff like that. And there we go. That's the exception to the rule. That's why I generalize it. That's why I said it. Those who are there, yes, bad people doesn't mean, I'm not knocking them for being evil, to kill, homicide, shoot, kill, whatever it is, doesn't, whatever, like that. I'm not knocking that. But if that number is 80%, that's why I generalize and say what I say. That's a situation that's messed up. And more and more and more, and this is happening. The kids are not getting to, they're literally not talking to the children and raising them. Right now, boys are on I'm gonna show you what they're trying to do. So again, you women love men. Y'all say you love men, and I'm not against that. But I don't think you do this to your child. I've heard women saying, I want my son to be a male. No, he's not. He ain't supposed to be. But they put in that situation on them. So let's go with this. This is what I said. They're attacking boys so boys can be boys. Now you can see in the corner right there, just for reasons, I'm just whatever. Again, links is in the description. If you're on YouTube and you're in Tempo FM, and if I'm you now, if you're in that description, you can go and watch this thing fully at any time. All right. So let's go with this part right here. This is what's happening into our schools now. And it's not good. And this lady right here is called
Normal boy.
Christina's Half Summers. she was original. She is one of those original feminists back when we were trying to stuff. And I have no problem with her because her feminist is trying to get, again, opportunities, get the freedom, all that stuff. That I have no problem with. But now is the changing stuff.
Is a serious liability in today's classroom. Boys tend to be disorganized and restless. Some have even been known to be noisy and hard to manage. Sound like any boy you know?
Yep.
But increasingly, our schools have little patience for what only a couple of decades ago would have been described as boyishness. As psychologist Michael Thompson has aptly observed, girls' behavior is the gold standard in schools. Boys are treated like defective girls. Now, as a result, these defective girls are not faring well academically. Compared with girls, boys earn lower grades, they win fewer honors, they're far less likely to go to college. Boys are languishing academically while girls are prospering. In an ever more knowledge-based economy, this is not a recipe for a successful society. We need to start thinking about how we can make our grade school classrooms more boy-friendly. Well, here are 4 reforms that would make a very good start. 1, turn boys into readers. In all age groups, across all ethnic lines, boys score lower than girls on national reading tests. Good reading skills, need I say, are critical to academic and workplace success.
Exactly.
A major study in the UK discovered, not surprisingly, that girls prefer fiction, magazines, and poetry, while boys prefer comics and nonfiction. Boys whose eyes glaze over if forced to read Little House on the Prairie may be riveted by the Guinness Book of Records.
Cool.
Yeah.
Boys will read if given materials that interest them.
Easy.
If you're looking for suggestions for books that have proved irresistible to boys, go to guysread.com. 2, inspire the male imagination. Celebrated writing instructor Ralph Fletcher contends that too many teachers take what is called the confessional poet as the classroom ideal. Personal narratives full of emotions and self-disclosure. These are stories girls commonly write, and these are prized, whereas action stories describing, say, a skateboard competition or a monster devouring a city, these are not. I recently read about a 3rd grader in Southern California named Justin who loved science fiction, pirates, and battles. Well, an alarmed teacher summoned his parents to school to discuss the picture the 8-year-old had drawn of a sword fight, which included several decapitated heads. The teacher expressed grave concern about Justin's values. The boy's father was astonished, not by his son's drawing, which to him was typical boy stuff, but by the teacher's overwrought and female-centered reaction. If boys are constantly subject to disapproval for their interests and enthusiasms, they're likely to become disengaged and lag further behind.
Yep.
Our schools need to work with, not against, the kinetic imaginations of boys.
Yeah.
3, zero out, zero tolerance. Boys are nearly 5 times as likely to be expelled from preschool as girls. And in grades K through 12, boys account for nearly 70% of suspensions. Now, this is often for minor acts of insubordination and sometimes for entirely innocent behavior. Hardly a week goes by without a news story about a young boy running afoul of the school's zero tolerance policy.
Exactly.
Josh Welsh, age 7, was recently sent home from his Maryland school for nibbling off the corners of a strawberry Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun. Josh, like many other boys punished for violating zero tolerance policies, was guilty of nothing more than being a typical 7-year-old boy. 4, bring back recess. Believe it or not, recess.
And this right here is gonna go into what we're gonna talk about tomorrow on the side chat, where we're talking about the stuff with COVID and everything else. This has not only hampered, this has not only hurt boys, this hurt girls too as well, because Americans are getting more obese. 80% of black women in America are obese. Not fat, obese. And it comes with heart disease, diabetes, high blood cholesterol, all that stuff. That's not a good thing. That's why when we say with guys like, hey, we want a girl who's fit, there's a range. You don't gotta be You don't have to be a Serena Williams top fit, 5% body fat, whatever. But they also don't have to be a Java the Hutt, either person. There's a range. No guy is like a skinny woman. I've seen skinny women. Ugh, it's heartening. And then now a lot of women are getting deforming themselves with all the fake stuff they're putting on their bodies. Like they're putting in BBLs. I'm like, you got skinny legs, you put a B. It's disgusting. I can show you a picture of that. I'm like, you thought that was good? And you went on the beach with that? That looks horrible. We should, the people, it's weird because it's a double standard. Let me get it straight. Oh, you're shaming our body because we too big. Okay. But height shaming is not a problem. Oh, I can't date you because you're 1 inch lower than me. What? Okay. Guy could have been a good dude, help you out, be careful, whatever. But because he's 1 inch lower than you, that's a problem. You pass on a lot of good men, some of you women do. But this right here is also when it comes to obesity and stuff like that. They need recess, bring it back.
May soon be a thing of the past. According to research summarized by the Science Daily, since the 1970s, school children have lost close to 50% of their unstructured outdoor playtime. And much-loved games have vanished from schoolyards. In schools throughout the country, games like dodgeball, Red Rover, even tag have all but disappeared. Too damaging to self-esteem or too violent being the usual excuse. One popular classroom guide suggests tug of war be replaced with tug of peace. Boys need to work off their energy. They need to be free to play games they enjoy. And keeping them cooped up and inside all day will not help them learn.
That's why you got a lot of the guys, like I said, I'm a video game nerd, not denying that. I'm a video game nerd, but that's why a lot of guys stay inside of the rooms and stuff like that because, what can you say? And then they become weak. They don't get the vitamin D. They look like we're really, excuse me, a woman, you're all, and like I said, the society right now is just doing a disservice. Again, I'm not picking up for Milton Thomas saying, I'm not picking up for the guys who are jerks. I'm not. Guys who are bad or whatever, I'm not. But there are ways that we were doing care of this and now it's getting worse.
As our schools become more feeling-centered, more competition-free, more sedentary, they move further away from the needs of boys. We need to reverse the boy-averse trends. Male underachievement is everyone's concern. These are our sons. These are the young men with whom our daughters will build a future.
Exactly.
If boys are in trouble, so
are women.
I'm Christina Hoff Summers at the American Enterprise Institute for Prager University.
She is 100% correct. And that video was done 7 years ago. So with 7 years ago, that video have that, right? Look what's going on now. This is look what she just said. Look what's going on now.
Street Journal investigation. Quote, men are abandoning higher education in such numbers, they now trail female college students by record levels. So get this, in 2020, the college gender gap has surged. 59% of college students are women, 40.5% of college students are men, and if you look even further, Marshall, it is predominantly young white men, regardless of class status, both poor and those, when you compare poor and working class white men to those of young Black, Latino, and Asian men from the same economic backgrounds, they are the ones who are kind of leading the way in dropping out. So look, there's always kind of been a little bit of an imbalance within college, but 60-40 all within a year and a dramatic increase in that, especially whenever it comes to socioeconomic status, is absolutely crazy. It's going to change higher education for a long time. So what's going on here?
Well, it's not just going to change higher education, it's going to change our country.
Yeah.
Because the key fact in this Wall Street Journal report, it's probably paywalled, but I really recommend people try to find it as much as they can, because once again, this is actually, I don't want to overstate this, a game changer as we look to how the next couple of decades are going to play out. there's been a huge actual decline in the number of individuals enrolled in college over the past decade, and 71% of that decline is driven by young men. Like that is the key fact.
And you go and watch his video. I'm gonna leave. You can go watch. There's a link in the description again for their Albert preaches their video and how that works out. Okay, so here you go. Reason they said good and all that stuff because I like how women always like, oh well, like there's a video you're gonna see a reaction to when certain cases where this woman's like, oh, I got 70 degrees, I got 2 degrees and blah blah blah. Yeah, you have 2 degrees. I'm proud of you. The degrees you have don't really earn you the money of nothing. It's almost meaningless degrees. But you have $300,000 in debt. That's what people never talk about. The other side. Oh, I have a degree. Great. I have a degree. I have 2 degrees. I have 2 degrees. You know how much college debt I had out of 2 degrees? 0. I also went with a degree. I went with a job. I went with a degree that is basically STEM. That went with a job. Majority of women do not go towards STEM. They go towards jobs that's more like psychology and social work and everything. Men are interested, just as Susan just said, men are interested in things, women are interested in people. That's the difference. That's just generalities, not nothing negative or bad about it. That's just what it is. But you go and get your social degree and got, like, again, you got 2 degrees, great for you, but you have $300,000 in debt. If you're in a doctor or a dentist and all that stuff and all that kind of stuff, and you got that, I don't know what way it is. And I employ guys to not, if you ain't going to something that need engineering and all that stuff, guys, go to trade school. I know a lot of, like I've said in the video just earlier, I know guys who are making $140,000 a year being a welder. I know a guy who made $250,000 being a welder. I know a woman who also makes $150,000 as a welder. Like, I know that. I know a person who makes $120,000 as a plumber. HVC, $150,000. You don't have to go through all the nonsense if you're that. But if you're gonna do engineering, science, and all that stuff, I get that. Now I'm talking about like true science, chemistry, biology, all that stuff, whatever. These fake faux stuff, African studies, women's studies, gender studies, all this crap, that's not gonna get you nowhere. Liberal arts stuff, they ain't gonna get you nowhere. It really ain't. And like I said, that's what it is. Majority of the $1.2 trillion in debt is held by 70% of women. Not guys. Women have that debt. And the decisions that how they got to that debt, it blows my mind. It literally blows my mind. It does. But again, that's not only that. Here's another one. They also in the schools, this is what they're doing. They're messing with these boys. They're messing with these boys.
The latest statistics indicate that 2% of American high school students now identify as transgender, and the overwhelming majority of them are teenage girls. Between 2016 and 2017 alone, the number of females seeking gender surgery in America quadrupled. But if you graduated high school over a decade ago, it was unlikely that you knew anyone who was transgender because, according to the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the condition underlying it afflicted roughly 1 in 10,000 people, or 0.01% of the population. Almost none of these cases were teenage girls. In fact, before 2012, there was no scientific or medical literature discussing adolescent girls who wanted to transition to the opposite sex. That doesn't mean that we didn't know about transgender individuals. Gender dysphoria, the severe discomfort in one's biological sex, has been studied for nearly 100 years. It almost always involved boys who began feeling it between the ages of 2 and 4 and were strong and persistent in their assertions to everyone around them that they were really girls. When a phenomenon that affects one half of a population, boys, suddenly begins affecting the other half, girls, and when its age of onset shifts from preschool to adolescence, something significant is happening.
Exactly.
In 2016, Brown University public health researcher Lisa Littman began studying the sudden spike in trans identification of teenage girls.
And remember, the reason I'm saying this is because, check this out. They wanted the boys to act like girls. Now, because there's not enough of that situation, now they got the girls trying to act like boys. Not helpful. It's
She
just not.
concluded that peer influence and social media influence had a lot to do with this trans teen phenomenon.
Yes, it is.
After all, based on parent reports, none of these girls had exhibited symptoms of gender dysphoria at the age that it typically first presents, early childhood. YouTube, Reddit, Tumblr, TikTok, and Instagram all host popular social media influencers,
Yep.
today's version of Hollywood stars, who insist that if you feel uncomfortable in your body, you're probably trans. Many promise that if you start a course of testosterone, all of your problems will go away.
Which is not a good thing because, again, introducing some of these things too, there have been studies about it, introducing the, again, I don't care if you're 18 and over, do that, go ahead, have your life, be free, do your thing, people. But introducing this stuff before the body puts it in your system at a certain moment before puberty causes cancer as well too. It's not a good thing.
There's every reason to believe that these girls are experiencing real psychological pain. Rates of anxiety, depression, and instances of self-harm are all at record levels for this generation. A quick fix becomes very tempting. So it doesn't take much, a YouTube video, a friend's suggestion, to get a troubled girl to buy into the fantasy that gender transition is the answer. Unfortunately for these girls who do not have typical gender dysphoria, gender transition rarely offers relief. And it's a catastrophic mistake for psychologists, educators, and the medical establishment to rush these teens towards a solution that will almost certainly harm rather than heal.
But they don't care. It's all for the money. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So you see how all this stuff is going to affect so many other things. And that's now with all this happening, like I said, and guys are going a certain way now. There's a thing called MGTOW. A lot of people don't like, a lot of women don't like it, whatever. They're like, oh, you avoid men with being a MGTOW, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, trust me, they don't like you anyway. So I don't know what you're thinking. You're happy that they're like, oh, please tell me who you are because I can avoid you. Trust me, they don't want to be with you. It's kind of reverse. I don't want to get that. But here's why I say it's gained to a degree. So we got these apps now, right? A lot of these social media, a lot of these things that were going on right now are teaching younger girls because, again, even if you do have a mother and a father, you gotta be precise. Like me, if God bless me, if I get kids, yeah, they ain't no damn social media. No, they ain't getting no phone until a certain age. I am not giving them a young phone. I've seen my cousin them give their little kid a phone at that age, the way they talk and stuff like that. Nah, I'm not. Get a phone? Nope. Nope. If I gotta do it, it's gonna be a dummy phone, and that's how it's gonna be. That's how it's gonna be. But I want to talk about, so we translate into something else now. That you see how that trend is, how we are raising these men to not be men, and it's causing problems. Now, also another double standard situation is these young girls are coming up with a little entitlement. Now we're switching to the dating apps, the social media. These young girls are coming with an entitlement that's beyond the world to me. It really is. So I want to just play a little bit of this. This is MDH. Again, link in the description. Check it out. But just want to play this lady saying stuff.
Do so much more than men. When I have women coming for me and attacking me for saying that, you know, women shouldn't provide at all, like money in a relationship. When they tell me that that's not equality, whatever, I don't know about you, but women do a lot of things. Don't try to tell me that being a woman on its own isn't enough, okay?
Yeah, right.
Get in return if we give her what she wants. We're gonna break it down MHD style. Now it's time for us to dive.
So the first thing that you want to have clear as a woman is that you want to be in a relationship where you benefit from. 50-50 relationships are where men, you know, they want you to pay half the money for whatever it is that you guys want to buy, or like for example dates. Let's say you guys go on a date and he's like, I paid last time, so it's your turn to pay. No honey, not today. So obviously you got to set the tone since the first date.
Okay, so now you know what she means with 50-50 relationships. And to be fair, we're adding this next clip as well before I give my opinion.
And of course, you do have to understand that men are not going to want to pay for you or for everything if you're not the type of woman that he's looking for. Because what makes you think that he's going to want to spend money on you when you're just a basic girl that he can get anywhere? That is why you have to be different and show him that you deserve every single penny that he spends on you, okay?
That is true. The last part, like she just said, that is true. I gotta see whatever. And again, if you get to a certain age, you're 20, so you know you don't know what the heck you're talking about. I would think you have a roof over your head. I would think you have a car. I would think you would have a place to sleep. Why? Because you're an adult. So I know we're going to get 50-50, but you got to have some kind of money, because if you think you can just come in and not do nothing, heck no. Back you go. Oh, that fish. Not a good fish. Throw it back.
All right, so she expects a man to pay for everything in a relationship. We agree with her that the money we spend on a woman should be on a woman that deserves it. Yep. Now let's get into why she feels 50-50 relationships don't benefit women.
50-50 relationships only benefit men and men only. What do we get from 50 relationships? From 50-50 relationships? And nothing. Actually, we do get a couple of things. Let me tell you what. We get tired, we get stress, we get tears, we get pain, we get headaches, kids, we get heartbroken, and then we get divorced. I'm obviously only
And that divorce part, I'm gonna debunk that in a couple minutes right there with that bull crap.
only 20 and I'm not married, but this is the type of relationship that I want for myself, because I only love myself and I wouldn't want anything other than good for me. And I
Human nature. And at least you admit your narcissistic ways.
expect every woman out there to want the same for themselves.
Exactly. You're 20 years old, and once again, you prove that this entitled and selfish mindset is spoon-fed to these girls from a young age. She could only mention negative things in her opinion, finishing her sentence with,
Because I only love myself and I wouldn't want anything other than good for me.
I only love myself, and I wouldn't want anything other than what's good for me. Like I said in the beginning of the video, we're gonna focus on what we get in return if we give her what she wants. She already set the tone with her selfish attitude and showed her ignorance of value, only mentioning negative aspects of the 50-50 relationship. I'll get back to this later. So now let's get into why a woman would deserve a man paying for everything.
Men don't really see how much women do, so much more than men. When I have
So much more than men. Okay.
women coming for me and attacking me for saying that, you know, women shouldn't provide at all, like money in a relationship. When they tell me that that's not equality, whatever, I don't know about you, but women do a lot of things. Don't try to tell me that being a woman on its own isn't enough, okay?
What? Woman on its own should be enough?
The foolishness. If you want me to pay for everything and your argument is because you are a woman, you're in a lot of trouble, young lady.
Yes.
Why?
Why?
Because there are like 4 billion females in the world.
Exactly.
They're not special for just being a woman. Keyword, special. This is a big reason why women can't keep a man, because the only thing you do is show up and expect the world in return. Just being a woman is not worth my time, money, and energy.
And coming from a guy who wasted 8 years on a woman, trying to give the wasted the time, money, and energy, couldn't make the woman happy. Gave her the ring and everything, couldn't make the woman happy. So, hey, I'm trying to save you guys from wasting your time, because that's one thing you cannot get is time back. Oh, you cannot.
This argument is bullshit.
Yes, it is.
Next.
We don't like to really do a lot. We can, but we just don't want to because we already do have a lot to offer to you. The biggest and best example is giving birth to your kids. I'm putting my...
What? What the fuck?
Did you just said your kids? Ma'am, if we didn't do anything, like I said, if it wasn't grape, yeah, I'm sorry. What are you talking about? It's our kids, me and your kids. If it's not me, if you don't want the kids, then I'll move on. But you can't say that. We want to come again.
And best example is giving birth to your kids. I'm putting my life at risk. We obviously both have different roles in the relationship and we complement each other, but men don't think that we complement each other and they want to take everything and everything and everything and everything. Y si no los paras, pues van a querer más y más y se van a cansar de ti, and even though you give them everything, they're still going to leave you and find somebody else.
Cariña, escúchame por favor. Your ignorance is messing you up. It's such a turnoff when women run their mouths, not understanding the words that are coming out of their mouths.
And guys too, if a guy's running their mouth, and like I said, people running their mouth and don't know what they're talking about, yes, it's not good.
First off, you say, we don't like to do a lot. We can, but we just don't want to because we already have a lot to offer you. You're presenting women as liabilities, and that's exactly what most of these modern women are. A bunch of liabilities. Just like Patrice O'Neal said about losing your favorite pencil.
Let me ask you a question.
You know that it's not true. You know.
I skipped that one just because of some cursing and stuff. I'm trying to keep some of the cursing, whatever. But again, link in the description. You could go and watch the video.
That it's not true that you are giving birth to my children. You know that I have nothing to say about my children. You know that I have to pay for my children if I want to or not. You know that having my children secures your bag. Why in the blue hell do I want to have children with you when you already showed me your selfish, entitled, and lazy attitude combined with these laws and statistics that only prove that investing in you is foolishness?
And that's why I teach the young man, like Ayana says, that kind of stuff right there is not wife material. Leave that alone. To wrap it up. There are women out there who want to have children. There are women out there who understand the value that they come. Each woman is different. But again, on a majority, that's what's going on right now. So that's what I'm talking about.
You say you put your life at risk? Para de hacer eso. Stop it. Last year, 800 women died while giving childbirth. Rest in peace, ladies, no disrespect intended here.
It's true.
However, last year, more than 5,000 men died at work, mainly construction work. I used to work in the petrochemical industry for 2 years. Unfortunately, I experienced one casualty, and even though we were seriously aware of the dangers of our profession, we never went to work with this mindset of, quote unquote, we are putting our lives on the line. We went to work to do what we had to do. Because we meant it, we meant it, Stop trying to take credit for what nature has created you to do, and stop underestimating the power of men. We invent everything. Don't be surprised when they invent artificial wombs and make your ass obsolete.
I don't want that to happen. That's one part of my gains. I don't want that to happen. Right now, they're trying to also make they're trying to make, what do you call it? Synthetic semen. So I don't want none of this right here. I don't want none of that. Please don't do that. But again, some scientists don't have the fear of God in them. They will create the most craziest things. And these mostly are men. I'm not going to deny that. Those men are a-holes. Purely a-holes.
Probably already invented that shit.
Which is messed up.
Like you giving him sex, money, kids, cleaning the house, washing his clothes, doing the dishes, sweeping, mopping, doing everything around the house. So that is only letting him know that you enjoy doing those things for him And let me tell you something. So when you give him all those things, he's thinking like, oh my God, I'm really worth her doing all those things for me. Like, she really loves me that much. She's not afraid to lose me. She literally pays for half of the things, if not for most of the things. She's always ready to please me. She loves me.
And okay, and I will say this: all the guys also should to reciprocate the same thing back to the wife. Okay, they should. And that should be a part of it. Don't let it be like that. And I'm not saying it's supposed to be 50-50 either. I think the men should have a little bit more responsibility, men than women. But again, you're not just gonna come in and not do nothing. And what she don't understand is like what men provide, because she has a part where she's like quiet. Like I said, yes, you live in an apartment, but with my money and your money, we could live in a good house. If we both work close enough that we have the same income, we could live a better lifestyle. We could live in a nicer house, have a better lifestyle, and in that regard. That's what a benefit is. It's a benefit to me to have you as well too. But that nonsense thinking that you thinking, I would never date a woman like that. Hell no.
She takes care of the kids so well. She doesn't really need me. That's why he likes an independent woman. Now,
that's not an independent.
Now, let me ask you, what have you benefited from if you've been in a relationship like that? I will wait. Oh, nothing? Oh, I'm sorry.
You crazy lady.
Oh my goodness. She's so ignorant, and it's not completely her fault. As you can see in our videos of these post-war women, they keep spewing that foolishness at 50 years old, not showing these
and being
women
single.
that relationships are more than materialistic things and
Exactly.
superficial things.
Exactly.
Loneliness is on the rise, and a lack of human connection can be more harmful to your health than obesity, smoking, and high blood pressure. The fact that she says that she gets nothing out of a 50-50 relationship proves that women don't love you for who you are. They only love you for what you can do for them. You are not a human being. You are a human doing to them. Unfortunately, these women will realize that relationships are more than money, status, and power when it's too late.
Yep.
You attract men because of your appearance, not because you are a great person to be with. And you see these videos pop up with women complaining that men don't approach them and don't want to romance them.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that.
That the juice ain't worth
the squeeze.
If I'm going to invest my time, money, and energy into you, you need to be worth it. And she still did not make a good argument why we should pay for everything.
And of course, as a girl, it's like, it feels good to be independent and, have your own things going on, like getting...
Again, that's called being an adult.
Your own money. That's...
And I do the same thing to men too. When men are like, oh, I take care, like Chris Rock said, I take care of kid. You're supposed to take care of kid. That's your responsibility, dude. You take care of your child. That's as best as you can that you could do it. But you take care of the child. You're an adult. You're supposed to have a car and a house and a place to sleep and all that stuff. That's adulting.
It's always good. But you're not going to be in a relationship where you're going to be helping him, because first of all, let me tell you, don't forget that he was the one that started chasing you. Well, that's only if you weren't the one, getting at him first. So yeah, that's another thing. Don't be the one that's following him first, because
yeah, a lot of you women are following this advice. Young women follow this advice. You're going to be single until you're old as hell.
Obviously making him think
get rid of the cats.
That he's a trophy and you're the one that wants
trophy.
Him. So yeah, just forget about that. Don't ever think about getting a man. Let them chase you. You are the trophy. They want you, and they better work for you. Okay?
Nah. No, not really. No, not. Sorry. Yeah. The prize is not the man. The prize is not the woman. The prize is the relationship to enter marriage. That's the prize. That's what you guys are trying to go forward towards. Okay? But we already know how that works out. And let's talk about the whole thing. But she's like, "Oh, is you gonna divorce?" Nope. Let me show you this right here. All right. Basically, this right here was again link in the description showing what happened, the trends, and this is why showing how more women have children than men to the same men. That's what we're talking about with the whole black thing. I was talking about just earlier ago. Like you could read through this and find this is statistics from the Child Research Briefing Trends for paternity. It's ridiculous. That's why somebody say a lot of men, when black women say, "Oh, men don't take care of the kids," black men don't take care of the kids. I'm like, okay, yeah. But it's because a lot of the men that y'all talking about are the ones that have baby mamas and all different have all the drama and stuff. And it's more those than men. The majority of black men are virgins. Majority of black men are not in relationship. Majority of black men's thing. Half of them are in jail. Like I said, 1/4 of men are in jail. So that makes it even more messed up. Excuse me. But let's see here. Let's go to, and then I want to put it right here. According to the National Center of Health Status, and also you could go to divorce courts to find out the national statistic from divorce courts all over, divorcecourtslawyer.com, .org as well. According to the National Center of Statistics, 50% of marriages in the United States end in divorce. About 80% of the divorce is initiated by women. And when I'm talking about that, it's not like initiated like thinking or whatever. Who went to the court and served the papers? The statistic shows that women are unsatisfied in their marriages, at least to the point of ending them than men, because men know that she might get half of our stuff. So we gotta vet out a lot to find the right woman, just like a woman gotta vet out to find the right man. So men, you gotta vet out the woman to find the right woman. It works both ways. But there's an incentive on one side and the other side. Okay, just as when it comes to children and all this stuff, 97% of the paternity goes towards the women, unless she's a crackpot or drug or whatever. And even though I saw a story this week where a woman killed 2 kids because the husband, her boyfriend, got custody. The judge gave custody to his daughter Nope, she went, just because that happened, she went and killed the 2 kids. Sad. I'm not going to show that one, but just like I said. But I want to preach this one here. Let's listen to this thing right here, which is amazing. Continuing off of that.
Lori is here. She is the author of Marry Him, making the case for settling for Mr. Good Enough.
The book is based on a survey where men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that?
Listen carefully.
And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled. That's a catch. And so
80% to the women you surveyed is settling?
That's settling because, the question is, what actually makes us happy in long-term romantic love? And, that's the question that I explore in the book. And I'm a journalist, so I went out and I asked neurobiologists about chemistry, and I asked behavioral economists about demographics, and I asked marital researchers.
What are women too picky about here?
Well, I'll tell you, men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting. But then he did this Austin Powers impression. And I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again. Austin Powers guy could be the love of her life. If he does these impressions on the second date, okay, don't go on a third. But maybe he was just nervous. The guys who are bad first daters might be great life partners. You don't know.
Bars.
I ain't got nothing to say.
Let me just let her.
She said she.
Hey, you got nothing to say.
Let me make the other argument. You have to have a list, Lori. You have to. You just can't run around dating any Tom, Dick, or Harry. You have to develop a list,
but you have to have the right things on your list. They have to be the right things. You know, the character things, you know, is he kind? Do we have the same life goals? Do we have the same values, the fundamentals?
Exactly.
Do we enjoy each other? How do we communicate with each other? You know, somebody said to me, you know, this woman that I was really interested in wouldn't go out with me because I didn't read the same books that she did. But she's madly in love with this guy who reads the same books, but he doesn't call her when he says he will.
Thank you.
I just ain't got shit to say.
Exactly.
It's just that it's what I see. It's what I see in some of my girls' friends.
And the one who's talking right now, he's married. He's been married for a long time. Preach is married. I was not, but just to let you know. Again, links in the description.
Some of my friends, some of my girls' friends, and whenever we sit down and we talk, oh yeah, I got my dating and I'm like, yeah, girl, sit down. Yeah, but he did this and he did that and that. I'm like, girl, you're gonna be alone for the rest of your life. Like if you keep on going like that for little stuff, you know. There's people that if you look at them, they don't go together, right? As a matter of fact, if you look at me and my wife, we don't technically, for what most people would look for, we do not go together. Like I like loud ass music, she doesn't. I like bass, I like people, she doesn't. I like motorcycles, nope. We don't watch necessarily the same shows, but raising a family ain't about the shows you watch. It ain't about the motorcycles you watch. It ain't about all, you know. So
you know what? It's funny because when people talk about compatibility, they talk about, oh, we share the same hobby.
And you know what's funny about that? I laugh about that because I always ask women that I ask the woman when I dated, like, I need you to have your own hobbies. I need you to be happy by yourself. I don't want you to be around me 24/7, 365. We gotta have our own lives. We're individual peoples. So if something's going on, you can still find things to be happy. You have the same happy, but we know what our values are and what we're gonna do to raise our family.
That's fine for when you're dating, but when you think about doing something long term, your compatibility should not basically be based on that. It should be a matter of values. It should be a matter of vision. Me and Preach are nothing alike in terms of personality.
On every point. Name them. We are polar opposites on everything. Girls we like, on what we drive, on how we eat, on what we eat, on everything.
Yeah.
Maybe music?
And even then, there's a bit of overlap, but really not. But you know where we do have compatibility? It's values.
Yup.
Me and Preach both value integrity. Me and Preach both value working consistently. Me and Preach both value speaking our minds. Right? There's one thing I've never questioned about you. It's your integrity. You know?
If you ask me, yo, there's some shit going on? Yeah. We sit down, we talk about it, we chop it up.
That's
right?
it. That's it.
If we think about it, I'm like mad that we're not friends. I can't even see it because we're so not alike.
No, we're not. But you know what, though? I think when it comes to when you were starting to get with them, when you guys were making your vows, did you not know this person? What changed after you got married? And what you come to realize is that it's not generally relationships that are toxic. It's not marriages that are toxic. It's the expectations going in.
Yes.
People find out that the quote-unquote labor that you have to put in is not fun. It's not roses. It's not the wedding ceremony.
Me as a woman, I don't think that I was necessarily prepared or in the mindset to know that. It's almost like once you get into it, then you're like, oh shoot, like this is what I'm going to have to keep up with.
I get that.
Us speaking as 36-year-old people know that now.
Your wedding is one day.
Yup.
Your marriage is the rest.
Yes.
And the marriage is labor. The wedding is that one day.
Exactly.
When the cake is cut, the dress is worn, and the flowers are faded, you have marriage, and now you have to work on that. That day is gone.
Yep.
You have to work, and it's work. It's work. Don't sit there and think that it's not work and everything is easy. You got to work. You got to be able to. You have to be willing to put the work.
Both sides.
And that's the thing. It's work. You got to work. You got to be able to be willing to work, and you have to know that a lot of things change. It's not going to stay like that the whole time. You know.
Exactly.
Women are usually the ones who leave the marriage.
Now here we go again. Remember, I want you to hear this. Women are the reason. 80% of divorces are initiated by women.
Marriages. So sort of like the men are happy in their marriages, and women don't realize that they're the ones who are often dissatisfied. And when this researcher that I spoke to looked at people who were getting divorced, it turned out that the women rated their marriages as, sevens, not like 3 or 4, as 7s. And
How interesting.
They would say things like, I love him, but I'm not in love with him anymore. And the men were devastated because they thought the marriage was just fine.
Right, because they're not asking for as much.
Right. Well, they have high expectations, but they're realistic about what one human being can provide.
Yes.
I think
And that is true. And I'm going to show you about that right now. Where is it? All right. 9 reasons why men, reasons why the 80%, the right reason why the women initiate the divorces more than men. 1, the indifference and cluelessness of a husband of their feelings. That's number 1. Number 2, small gestures and reinsurance are missing. Money problems. That one I got. I thought I was up to number 1. No, but this is why women do this. Needs not being met at home. I can understand that. Husband who cheats on their wives. Okay, I can understand that. Marriage is not living up to the expectation. We just talked about that. Substance abuse. Messed up thing. I got that. Lack of romance. Hopefully you could work it out and make it work as well too. Physical and emotional abuse. That one I understand. So out of them, I go like this, because after the 70s we have no fault divorces. Most of the divorces are no fault divorce. I can't pronounce the word. Irrecyclable, whatever, differences, blah blah blah. This one at number 9 is weird, but that I respect. You should not be in a marriage for that if that's happening. Lack of romance, okay, but I get it with children. That should be work it out. Substance abuse. If it's getting really bad or whatever, I understand that. 40% of couples decide to separate because of this. I get that. I have no problem. Marriage is not living up to the expectations. You put, as Abba just said, the expectations in your head is what makes it toxic to what you're doing. Husband cheats on a wife. I got that. I am not knocking that. Women, if your husband cheats on you, which is funny because I got an explanation about a quickness about that. You should not think. But again, it's funny too. All these women, these young women, like going back to the younger lady, all these younger women who listen to the Cardi B's and the Beyonce and all that stuff. What those women are doing? They preach all my single ladies and be that boss chick and all of the Stormy Washingtons and Trina, all that stuff, and make it sound you could be bad by yourself, whatever. But they're in relationships. Cardi B knows Offset is the best she could do. That's why she stayed. She had a husband. She came on a song says WAP, which we know. I don't cook, I don't clean, but I'll tell you who got this ring. Offset took a video of her cleaning the house because you don't listen to your own lyrics, as he said, which is messed up. 2, he cheated on her. Now they just had a second child. Good for them, not knocking them for whatever, but all her songs, I'm a boss. I can hang, I can do all this stuff. She's not doing what she's preaching. Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce. Where's Jay-Z? Where's Beyonce? Still married. Oh, girl, if he did that too, I'll leave him right away. Well, all you young girls that listen to these songs, whatever. Again, Cardi B does not let her daughter, her youngest daughter, her oldest daughter, I should say, her oldest daughter, listen to her music. There's a video when she was singing a song, singing all WAP and going all crazy. Yeah, and the daughter came in the room, she turned it off. And she said, I don't make music for kids. You're correct, and I respect you for that. Here's the problem, though. A lot of girls who listen to this garbage don't care what they listen to the kids. That's the problem. But she's still with her husband, though, because she knows that's the best she could do. Needs not being met at home. Okay. I could see that in a way, but that's, like I said, that's a 50-50 in my regards. Money problems. I get that. And I know that was higher. I get the money problems. I could see that. It could be really messed up. I'm going both way on that too. Men or women, I'm saying money problems. But I got to read the first one, though. Women seek closeness and vulnerability in marriage where under the veil of intimacy. it is safe to be real and raw with their chosen one or soulmates. When they get close to that feeling of connection and the husband gives them the wrong answer, a brick wall springs up. Then one day the wall gets higher for the husband to penetrate. In its purest form, women want the connection, both do not know what they want. So men need, this is I've talked about this before, so men need to read their minds. This is where the communication breaches occur often. Women do not say what they want and men do not understand it. So the wall rises. I don't read minds. That's why I was saying, I've said it multiple times on the show. Just say it. We can go from there. Just say it. Just say it. Now, let's go into, let me see. Let's go into the younger girls. I want to do this before going to the church and just think, this show, yeah, it's gonna be long. I'm happy you guys are hanging in there with me. Wow, we're up to like, okay, we're 25,626. All right, guys, thank you. The chat is booming. I can't do the chat tonight because again I'm trying to get this in a little show. But thank you guys. You guys are getting close. The highest we ever had was 29,000. If you guys, I hope you help a brother out. Share the video. Go on YouTube. Subscribe. We have 26 subscribers on YouTube. Help out people on Facebook. Go on Facebook. Put in Project Over Mike. You'll see it come out. Or POM. TT Records on Facebook. Also, UVid. You guys are new. Again, I got a couple people there. It's all right. Just get subscribe with stuff. I'm gonna keep on expanding. Same thing. Project Over Mike on Twitch. You could go there and subscribe too. That's all it is. Just go there and just help us out. So let's go with I want to go with this one. Here's what happened with we go back with MHD again. Here's what happened because of the dating apps. And I know this because I've seen this. And you're gonna hear the craziness of this. This is why we say 80% of the women go for 20% of the men, and you're surprised. Where the good men at? You're knocking out a lot of good men.
That she rejects 98% of men. The foolishness of dating apps. Welcome to Management Highlights Daily. We are aware that women date the top 20, top 10% of men. And the intro clip just shows how ridiculous it sounds when you start breaking down the numbers. Dating apps are not effective when it comes to building deeper connections, and most men are easily dismissed because of the abundance of choices women have today. We're going to start with the question that the lady asked before we get into the foolishness.
The new Tinder world that we're all living in. So I think I totally agree with what you said earlier about how the mentality with having Tinder and Hinge as an option, whether or not you're on those apps, it's just grass is always greener, one foot in, one foot out. I think one argument for using the apps is that it's more exposure to more people, right? So I'm not going to meet as many people in a bar as I would if I decide to swipe on Hinge. But I think what you just said about how does it just make women so much more critical if you're given so many more options. So do you think that in the context of Hinge or Tinder, it's better to be given more exposure to more people so that your chances are technically higher? Or are you just infinitely more critical that it's not going to have a positive outcome either way?
We don't have a good view on this lady, but from this angle, she is at least an average-looking woman. We know that average-looking women get a lot of attention as well. And that's a big reason why she is picky. The paradox of choice. Having an abundance of options actually requires more effort to make a decision and can leave us feeling unsatisfied with our choice. And that's where the ineffectiveness of the dating app comes in, because this next clip shows that it's not about having too many options. We're gonna break this down. A lot of pauses, okay?
Okay.
So what is the percentage of men that you see on Hinge or Tinder that you're proposing to them to go for coffee?
Me personally, it's very minimal.
No, what is it?
You hear the crowd laughing when she says that the percentage is minimal. And she even laughs when she says it. Now, why is this funny? Do you remember this clip right here?
What can men do leaving here? Be better.
What?
Be better.
What the fuck?
At everything.
Once again, this is all men's fault. The reason why her choices are minimal is because men need to be better.
While they're the same ones who, like I just said before, showed you that they teach these young boys not to be boys, not to go for higher education, not good education, like I said, not the crappy stuff, whatever, and how they give it. I have a video that I have, like I said, I have no problem with I have one problem with the first lady. She said a lot of crap sometimes too, but I have one problem with her. God bless her that she raised two beautiful daughters, the first lady, first black woman, everything. Here's the problem. And like I said, the reason I said it because she's like, oh, when we moved into the neighborhood, white people left. But then you left after when you started getting good as well too. Right now you live in a $15 million house in Martin Vineyard around white people. Make that make sense. But the one thing I have against her, and Barack as well too, is I wish they talked more about being a family towards family people. They don't do that. That's the thing that killed me. Hey ladies, because she said in her book, and she said herself, Barack Obama was a square. He was a square, okay, but she saw potential and he became the president of the United States. Awesome. But you didn't see a guy, and she also worked hard to get certain stuff what she gets. So I'm not knocking her on that, but that's the point. You should have talked about family. You should say, hey guys, make sure this, you go get your job, make sure you're stable, and stay with the woman you have. Get married, then have a child. You'll build a better life. Women, vet a lot of these guys out, find out what's going on, and also get a child after you get married. That's what they should have been talking about. But nope, they talk all the crap. Like, even the part where she was like, I'm a single mom. I'm like, how are you a single mom? Oh, because you fell because he's the president. Like, don't change the definition.
Same response when Michelle Obama said it. Oprah was laughing her ass off and the crowd was cheering. No responsibility on the woman's side, okay? Men just need to be better with everything. So it's not just about a paradox of choice. It's also about unrealistic expectations that modern women have when it comes to men, and the dating app is not helping. Let's go deeper.
Are we talking 10%, a fraction?
2%.
2%. So 2.
And I'm not even asking. I will say yes if they ask.
You what?
Maybe I will agree, but I'm probably not one to proactively reach out.
And I'm not even asking, and I will say yes if they ask.
You can't make this stuff
up. At this
up.
point, we're talking about 2% that she is only interested in. And she will not ask these guys on a date. She will say yes when they ask. They means 2% at this point, not even 20%. We're talking about 2%. The crème de la crème is not even good enough for you to make the first move and ask on a date. The foolishness, because that's the man's job, right? It's not just the paradox of choice. It's also the paradox of modern women wanting a traditional man without being a traditional woman. The dating app provides simplicity when it comes to searching for the ideal man on paper. But like I've said before, substance is needed in order to build and maintain a successful relationship.
Exactly.
A deeper connection. And we have many videos that prove that a lot of women lack substance. You want the crème de la crème. However, the only thing that you want to do is show up. Let's go deeper into the foolishness.
So let's say you see 1,000 people on Tinder, which is probably like 30 minutes. How many of those do you think of 1,000 you say yes to 20?
Sure. Yeah. Yes, maybe more, but yes, let's say
50 out of 1,000. So that's 0.5%. Okay, so
out of 1,000 guys, she says yes to 50 of them, which makes the 2% increase to 5%. And you're still single. And that's all men's fault, right?
Yeah.
Please watch our video of the 40-year-old lady getting a dose of equality when she went on her first Bumble date. Her selection process is the same as most women, only shooting for the top guys. It's on Bumble, so she has to make the first move in order to start the conversation. However, she still expects the guy to ask her out. And it's interesting to see that she can't get it through her thick skull that the guy that's part of the creme de la creme might not be interested in her. He just wanted to hit it.
Exactly.
The dating app doesn't provide the necessary substance to build and maintain a healthy relationship. Women will get an abundance of attention, but that doesn't make them good women. That doesn't make them the prize.
And that's why a lot of their heads got inflated. And I'm talking about just the dating apps now, okay? I'm literally just talking about the dating apps. For the women who do that, you got an inflation in your head with that stuff.
If you have 1,000 guys interested in you, and you date 50 of them, and you're still single after those 50 dates, there's definitely something wrong with you. Yes, I said it.
This one is crazy. And listen carefully because she is a nut job. Oh my God. I'm going to do a video on this because she's a nut job. I watched the whole video. And you hear, listen carefully because there was 20 guys around her trying to date her. And you got to do texting and everything. She asked questions. Some of the questions were crazy. Like if you're younger than me, I don't want to date you. Okay, that's our preference. If you look like my brother, how the heck I should know I look like your brother? I don't know. Well, I don't want to date you if you look like my brother. And then ask some of the stuff that you should wait. Those are kind of questions you should wait. I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 months from now. The freaky, kinky stuff, you keep that away. Now you take it out right now. I don't know you. And if you're saying this stuff right now, it makes me think, I don't know how clean you are. That story is all breaking up, but I'll talk about it. But you're gonna hear carefully what this person because of what happened. There was 4 guys left out of the 20, and she said something that was crazy. And this is what happened.
You're gonna be single for a while.
You hear what he said? You're gonna be a single for a while. Exactly. Exactly.
That was rude.
No, because your questions was asinine and disturbing.
How many guys do you think would be left?
I thought there would be maybe 4 guys left, but there were none. So today I learned that my criteria is not, I guess, easy as I thought it was. But I'm okay with that because I don't, like, these are values and things that I
just tell you some of the values some of the questions she asked. These are stupid questions. They were just dumb. I'm seriously, like, I would never date you either.
don't want to bend and change.
It doesn't mean because you look good or not, and you can look as good as you want. But those questions you asked, they were like, what the?
Right now, so.
Professor Dan Ariely says something interesting here.
But in online dating, people reject most people. When you go to speed dating, people say yes to more than 20% of the people they meet. It's kind of shocking. 20%, you're talking 2, you're talking half. Why is it? Part of the problem is that in these apps, we don't describe people in a way that tells us anything about how to consume them. But in general, like what does it mean to be with that person?
What does it mean to be with this person? Exactly. And that's what this is ultimately about, being together. The dating apps, the dating profiles don't provide any of this information.
Yes,
so
I've seen that.
To date someone based on what looks good, and apparently most men don't look good enough for women, leads to the dismissal of great men that don't look the part. And it doesn't stop, fellas. It's psychological. As long as there are guys sliding in their DMs, hitting them up on dating apps, there's always gonna be this thought, this idea that you can do better, and that the grass is greener on the other side.
Exactly.
Check this out.
And now you wake up next to somebody or you have a little fight with somebody and you think to yourself, in one click, I could have a date with somebody else. Now,
I want to point out something.
With somebody.
See what I was talking about? Look at that. One man, majority of women. And you see the effeminate. Do you see what I'm talking about? This is a college class. You see what I'm talking about?
And you think to yourself, In one click,
You can't make this stuff up.
somebody else. Now, imagine that you have an apartment
Mm-hmm.
and you have a deal with the landlord that the lease is day to day. And every morning you wake up and you say, do I want to extend this lease or not? And every day your landlord decides if they want to extend that lease or not. How much would you invest in the apartment? Would
Not a
you
lot.
paint the walls? Would you get flowers? Would you fix the walls? Would you do all kinds of things? Of course not. Because you're always with one foot outside. And I think that that's really the issue. It's not just the existence of Tinder, but this idea. So the analogy is that you wake up next to your romantic partner every morning and you say, should we do it for another day or should we stop now? The moment you think in the short-term horizon, the odds that you will invest in a relationship is
Goes
much,
down.
much lower.
Yes.
Loneliness is a serious issue, fellas.
And that's
for
why
men and women.
Yeah,
But
both.
it's clearly women who have problems being satisfied. Building deeper connections are very important, but I wouldn't recommend using dating apps to achieve this goal. Dating in general in Western society is something that I don't recommend either. But at the end of the day, the decision is yours.
And I could go on to say what it is. Like for me, when I used to put the dating apps and stuff like that, I put, unlike what the professor said, I put stuff. That's why I say it's funny when I put this stuff and still women will come and have like a 6K. I'm like, what did you not read? You think I'm just gonna jump on it because you look good? No. You see you have 6 kids. I'm not doing that. Or you see some crazy stuff in your thing. I'm like that. No. That's why one of the reasons, like I said, for me, when I used to use a dating app, not for research purpose, because I did it first for research purpose and then look around and see things. I swipe. Why? Because if you just got pictures, most people will say what? Oh, you're only there for my looks. Okay, well, you ain't telling me nothing about you, so you look good, but you no substance. So okay. Then I look at okay, you only put a couple things swipe. Like the person I'm dating right now, I had a long thing written out. She had a long thing written out. That's pretty good. That's how they're supposed to be. In my opinion, that's why I chose that, have a conversation, and also ask a lot of questions up front before we go further than we have gone before. So that's what it is. I can't say I don't agree with him saying about a dating app thing. I get it. It is a pain in the butt. But it's just one thing I wanted to point out. So let's continue more with the same thing. Here's a woman who tried to do like the man, try to be a man on a dating app. Here's the flip side now. Again, I'm proving my points.
Did not realize just how brutal it is in the dating scene for men. Long story short, the post got removed, but we do have it. I want to read it for you because there may be a lot of men who get a chuckle out of this. There may be a lot of men who are interested to see how a woman responds to a guy who is seemingly attractive who just can't get dates because the dating system is broken. But there's a bigger picture at play.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that millennial women favor Democrats 70 to 23? Overwhelmingly, millennial women are Democrats. Why is it that when I go through every single poll related to like economics and pop and culture war issues, men and women are mirror images of each other? I mean, take a look at this. Gun control. Women support it, men oppose it. Black Lives Matter. Women support it, men oppose it. And I think this...
And Tim is kind of like me. Well, I'm kind of like Tim. That's to be okay. He has 1 million subscribers. He has like I said, he does politics and all that stuff as well too. But I wanted him to read this this post
Dating
for you.
Post gives us tremendous insight into politics in this country.
Not politics, also the women too.
To put it simply, women have it substantially easier than men in many respects. Not all respects, but
Of course, in
much
many.
less likely to end their own lives, much less likely to end up homeless, much easier to get stable entry-level positions.
Because again, there's only one men's support group, shelter home for men. One. There's millions for women. One for men.
Much easier to find a partner. Now, what this means, we're seeing a dramatic change in the way our society functions, particularly with online dating. And it's just one component of the evolution of American and global culture. But I think what we're seeing is, you know, call it some kind of behavioral sink. I think this may be, well, I'll put it this way. If we do not rectify this problem described by this woman somehow, I think we're on the verge of collapse. Men and women are functioning as rival political classes at this point. And I think the only reason you see a shift leftward is because men are divided among those who are like, I am a strong, independent man and will not change my opinions for anybody. And the guys who are like, just tell me what you want to say, dear. I would like to do anything to get laid. And that's a lot of guys.
And that's mostly feminine men, too.
Apparently show up. And there's a lot of interesting things here to go through. Notably that modern women, this is a story we covered a long time ago, but I want to show you this in the context of modern politics. Women are struggling to find men who make as much money as they do. This will get worse. And as it does, we can see that women are upset about it. Y'all ain't going to be happy. Men and women, neither are going to be happy. Now, let me read you this post.
Exactly.
I, 33F, helped my brother, 31M, with dating apps. Now I'm depressed. Throwaway account. I have too many friends on my original account. The woman writes, I decided to help my brother with old apps, online dating apps. He had been struggling with dating for 3 years, and the parents are concerned about his mental health. So I invited him to stay with me for a couple of weeks and told him that I would help fix his dating app profiles, as I was certain he was doing something wrong. He half-heartedly agreed and brought a second phone that I could use. He is 6 feet, 165 pounds, and has moderately good looks. He has a stable job, which makes him good money. I set up his account on Tinder and Bumble and completed his profile, description, etc. on his second phone. I also swiped and initially chatted with women who matched with the profile. My aim was to show him how to talk to women to keep them interested in him, because his main complaint was that they never respond. I thought of sending the first few messages and then letting him continue the conversation. It has been 2 weeks now. My experience has been utter garbage. Nobody wants to have a conversation. I don't quite understand why. Maybe I am doing something wrong. Maybe reflect upon how you as a woman use dating apps. Perhaps she doesn't do it the same way. Here's what she says. I feel depressed, probably because all these years I kept telling him that he was doing something wrong. I always thought that only rude, broke, obese, unhygienic, and bad-looking men sucked at dating apps, and others had a fair chance. Well, I was in for a rude awakening. This is what I experienced. One, very few matches when compared to what we women get. He got a few matches on his first couple of days. Post that it's just a match or two a day. I used to get scores of good matches every day when I used online dating for myself, and I was very picky. Hardly any responses from his matches. Women just don't want to have anything to do with him. This was perhaps what affected me the most. I watched in despair as matches just kept expiring. Sometimes they would stop after a few messages, and other times they wouldn't even send a message or a reply.
Of course. And I was like, always like, oh, send me something and I'll respond. And again, I want to have conversation and all this stuff. All that stuff. Blah, 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 blah.
I have used Bumble and Tinder myself. Men don't do this. 90% of men respond to the first message. This is worse than getting a dick pic, which has happened to me a few times. At least the person on the other side wants you, even if it's just for sex. Imagine being ignored like a piece of trash. That's what it felt like. 90% of the matches never initiated the conversation or responded to the first message.
Nope.
How is he supposed to get a date when there are no responses from the other side? 3, very poor quality matches. Most women who matched with his profile were nowhere close to his educational qualifications or salary range. In fact, there wasn't even a single match who initiated a conversation that I would say matched his salary and education level. I never had this problem on online dating apps. There were loads of men who were either equal or better than me in salary and education. I met my current BF on Bumble, and he makes as much as I do. Did you notice anything there?
Oh, I noticed it.
The man was able to attract women of lower educational and salary standards. That is not surprising to me in the least bit.
Neither me.
And she found a man who makes as much as she does, and in fact met many more who made more. This is probably not surprising to anyone, but let's read and then talk about the politics here. She said, I don't know why men even go through this.
Don't pay another auto insurance.
Got me on that one.
His experience and is holding his own. I don't understand how. I know we can't change the dating scene much. The least we can do is empathize with the person instead of telling them they are doing something wrong. Honestly, I don't even know if I am doing anything wrong myself. I am just doing what worked for me. I am going to ask him to stop using online dating and go out there. I am sure you'll find it easier to find a good woman to date
in real life. Just like the professor just talked about.
This is not a secret, and I think most women don't understand this and don't experience it. You know,
of course not.
When you're a dude and you're on when you use online dating, what they show you online is they're like, match everyone, just swipe everyone and cross your fingers. The data out of OkCupid's hilarious. Men will respond to women on a natural bell curve scale of attractiveness. Meaning, when you ask men about a random selection of women, when they say someone is attractive or unattractive, there is an average. The majority of men will say this woman is average, and then there's a very high end of women who are somewhat attractive. For women, it's inverted. Women don't respond to like 85% of men deeming them unattractive. That's right. The dating app data shows us that women view the overwhelming majority of men as unattractive and only respond to the top tier. But that makes sense.
And that's what the professor just showed.
You look at the animal kingdom, and what do we get? With chimps, with chickens, it doesn't matter. There is one strong male who dominates and then breeds with the women. Makes sense.
True.
The strong must survive.
True.
For a society like ours, where we are socially developed and have morals and ethics, this seems to not make sense to us. But surprise, surprise, here we go. When this woman experienced the male dating experience, she was shocked and depressed by it. So let's take a look at politics. I'm not saying there's a direct correlation between women being able to date and national level politics.
I'm gonna switch a different. I'm gonna switch that a little bit.
Okay.
Like I said, that's his style.
Wrigleyville in Chicago, which is where Wrigley Field is, nobody would hire me. Oh, they were all hiring. I was trying to find a job. I lived in Wrigleyville in Chicago, which is where Wrigley Field is. Nobody would hire me. Oh, they were all hiring. They said, but we're not hiring men. This is the service industry. We don't hire men. They're like, unless you're a certified bartender, you can maybe get the bartender spot, but we already have 2 bartenders. We don't need you. Plus, we would rather have a female bartender anyway. I got lucky. Some guy took pity on me and said, you can clean up the trash and we'll see what we can do for you. Not that I'm complaining about it. That's just the way things are. But think about what kind of person that develops you into. For somebody who, myself, homeless, trying to figure out how to survive when no one was willing to support me, I became fiercely independent. Well, what about your average woman? And this is not every woman, it's not every man. But if your average woman is overly protected, not going to end up homeless because someone will give them a place to live, or because they can easily go online and find a man who will give them some kind of support, or a sugar daddy, which is also common, women are much less likely to need to fight to survive in the way a man would. Which means women are like, what's the problem? I should just get what I want. I've always gotten things that I've wanted.
Goes back to that young girl at 20.
Nothing, because nothing was ever given to me. Percentage of men. So there's no pairing. At the very least, the women are being cheated on. How does this manifest? Women are struggling to find men who make as much money as they do. Yeah, is that a surprise? You've got the cream of the crop, the best of the best, the guys, going for young women. They mentioned this in the story, that women who are in their 30s, they're making good money. They're 38-year-old Upper East Sider stresses. She's not looking for anything outrageous, safety and security as far as finance goes, but she's still coming up on empty dates. Just because the men she goes out with don't feel the innate push to succeed that she does. I think for years, they've always just taken their role in society for granted, and I think they're just getting lazy culturally.
No.
Isn't that really funny?
No.
Kind of like a weird inversion. But let me say this. They mentioned another woman who's 32. You want to know why a 30-year-old woman who makes $50K can't find a man who makes $50K? A 30-year-old man who makes $50,000 a year is probably dating a 24-year-old who's making $15 an hour at Starbucks as she just got out of college.
True.
Here's a guy who's older than her, more established, better connections, more experience in a car, and he can take her, to a fun trip. A woman who's in her 30s is going to try and go for is going to have to go for a guy her age is going to be like, I want to date down. Men always want to date down. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what happens. So as men make less money, don't go to college, major crisis with men in college, although I don't think college is good anyway, you're going to end up with women making money, not wanting to be with a guy who doesn't make money. And those people, those guys will not find women who make even less money. And it's just thrown the whole thing into this crazy imbalance where politics is reflecting everything that's happening. And I think it has a lot to do with all this. So the last time, whenever I talk about this, the feminists always get super angry at me. And I think it's hilarious. I've never had any issues. You know, I've always, because I've never cared, right? And I wonder if that's it. I've always been, just say arrogant, I guess. Maybe arrogant isn't the right way to put it. But I've never had issues with dating culture. The left likes to take this clip I have from 20 or early 2020 out of context, where I said something like, you know, I've tried dating, but it's impossible and it's not me, it's everyone else. And the specific context wasn't like getting on Tinder and hooking up with women. One thing I've always stated is that online dating culture is absurdly easy. And going out to bars and picking up chicks is absurdly easy, but it's not fulfilling. Guys don't want that. I mean, some guys do. A lot of guys probably just want to feel desired. But people in general, men and women, want stable relationships.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. Of course, I'm in a relationship and things are great. And I don't have these issues that these other women are having. And I find it rather interesting, I suppose, that everything they've fought for, perhaps due to cultural pressures, is now negatively impacting everyone. Now, that is not to say that feminism is wrong. That's not what I'm saying. I actually think feminism, in terms of women in the workplace and opportunities and equal access and equal opportunity, is one of the best things we've ever done.
That's what I said at the beginning.
But I will say that if
they got
you
overboard.
will not stand up for what you want, then you'll get pressured into something you don't want, or if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything. And so what that means is, while women should have absolutely equal access and opportunity in every regard, and we haven't even gotten to that point, some women still struggle with sexism, absolutely. The problem is that the double-edged sword.
Okay, ready? All right. I'll again link in the description. You can check that out. I gotta finish up a couple more stuff in here. So, and again, I wanna like I said, the pastor they talk about that. Now, in the black community, they have a lot of the church and everything. So I want to, because a lot of women don't. A lot of women say, "Oh, men don't preach women." Well, they don't approach a woman because of, again, I've done the videos about that. You all should see it. Y'all go to Project Over Mike. You should see Straight No Chases. Whenever, like, if you talk to a woman or whatever, you could get accused of stuff. Or if you give her a drink, and like, there's many things you'll see coming from the channel. Like, it's ridiculous. So I want to talk about this. This pastor here talking about this, and let's hear this. Here's this craziness.
And prostitutes at the pulpit is a form of verbal abuse. I would just like to say that if you did not know. But if you had a daughter with a breast hanging,
I'm gonna.
Amazing. From Yaden, what's going on, Abby?
Hi, Mr. Harris. How are you?
Amazing. We have Pastor Gino Jennings here.
Yes, and I heard comments that he was making a good morning, Pastor Jennings.
Good morning to you. Good morning.
Okay, now let me ask you this, if you don't mind.
Yes, ma'am.
In the Bible, God states, "Come as you are," right?
No.
So,
can I interject?
Okay. I didn't cut you off. Wait a minute, please.
Okay.
Be little.
Yes,
show a
ma'am.
little respect, okay? Now,
See how that is, but
I'm
hey.
just asking you. Do you see, like, where I'm
She
trying
asked
to
the
go?
question, so
If
he was
somebody
kind of
has a pair
supposed to
of
interject
jeans
there,
and they
but
don't have a dress, or somebody pants is sag. Okay, for instance, an inmate might just come home from prison when it comes to your church. They give him a brown inmate jacket. And they say, you know what, I want to get my soul saved. I know I've been living right. I want to come to Christ. If that's all that man has to wear to church, and he comes up in your church, you're going to refuse and tell him he can't come here because he's just getting out of prison?
That's not what it is. Come as you are, I mean, it's yes, you come as you are at the initial, but you shouldn't stay in that mindset. If you're gonna change, you gotta show that you change.
No, you accept him as he is, because you don't
Initially.
pass him by according to what you see in your eyesight. That's judgmental, and God didn't judge anyone.
First,
Yes, he did. If he did not, then what happened? What happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, Job, Noah, Israel, the Egyptians? He did, in the powers that he does. It's kind of still Babylon with the tower, the black on the tower. He did. Y'all, use the Bible, but y'all, it's so weird how you use it. It's so weird how you use it.
First of all, we don't turn no one away when they come to church, regardless of what they have on. And from that perspective, that's not even what I'm dealing with. That's not what I was dealing with even when I was teaching. What I'm dealing with is the way our women look today who already claim they're saved. We're not dealing with anyone who only have one piece of clothing to wear.
Exactly.
The state of the churches today, if you go into churches, regardless of practically any church, a Christian woman and a woman that's not saved are not supposed to look the same, act
exactly.
the same, be the
Exactly.
same.
Exactly. And that was one of the problems that I had with church in particular. The people who were a part of church were doing the same thing. And I noticed this as a kid. I'm talking about I was very, very religious when I was 7th, 8th grade. I've read the entire Bible. What kid do you know in 7th, 8th grade reading the entire Bible? I've read it about 3 or 4 times. I was ultra religious at one point. But then I started to notice that the people that were in the church were doing the same things as the people that were outside of the church. Then I asked myself, why are people identifying as Christian if they're not doing things or even trying to do things according to the Bible? And I learned that a lot of people identify as Christian just so they can virtue signal. And I see it happen with other religions too. A lot of people identify as...
That's one of the reasons people say, oh, you're copying out, you copying out, whatever. I say I'm spiritual with religion. I think religion is a barrier for a lot of stuff. I don't think I need... I myself don't personally think I need a congregation to speak to God. I'm not saying it's not bad. It's not a good thing to be with fellow like people in a church, and I'm not against that. And like I said, I go to church when I go home to New St. Thomas. I go to church and everything. But I'm just saying that when I see stuff going on, it's like it's too much.
Muslim, but they eating pork, they cursing all the time, and they're not conducting themselves
Same
in a way
thing with
that
the Christians.
a Muslim probably should, according to the Quran.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I seen that as a kid, and I seen nobody taking accountability for their own actions, a lot of people would try to pray away their accountability, and people would do things throughout their lives. And instead of using the church as a way to continue to be accountable, people would try to pray away all of the things that they did wrong. And when you pray away the things that you do wrong, you don't have to take any accountability. So I would see all the time people doing things, and because they can just go pray and ask for forgiveness, they would never really fix themselves. And I didn't see a lot of people developing into better people. So that's when I kind of started to distance myself from that environment.
If any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. Old things have passed away. So if old things have passed away, not only my character changed, but my appearance should change.
Exactly.
Explain to me, why would any decent woman want to walk the street with her breasts hanging out? Why is it all right to do? Why would any decent woman want to walk the streets with shorts so short, everything in the shorts is out the shorts?
Exactly.
What is so decent about it? To have your 10-year-old daughter, your 12-year-old daughter, your 13-year-old daughter looking like a prostitute. What is so decent about it? What is so decent about the women half naked in the club and you come into church and they look the same way on the choir, on the playing the instruments, being ushers? What is so decent about it? You mean to tell me we're living in a society that's upset with me because I'm encouraging our women to put clothes on?
Exactly.
That's the height
Thank
of
you.
ignorance.
A lot of women are calling in and they're mad because they're like, you're only going at, and I know you talked about this earlier, you touched it earlier. What do the men, what do you say about the men and their appearance and how they act?
Before
even he goes that's the point that kills me. So when I do stuff like this, or the people are like, oh, what the man or whatever, I've stated it like at the beginning of this whole podcast, and if you listen to the whole thing so far, I've said I do not respect men who do dumb stuff, who do violence, who will do abusive to women and all that stuff. I think those guys are jerks. They're true fathers. The fathers who are not really taking care of their kids, and they're jerks. I hold them at the same amount of accountability. So I hold it in the same regards. I talk about more that men should be careful of certain things because there are not many. Again, media. You talk about the media. I just showed you that how in colleges and everything they're not pertaining to men. That's why boys are getting where they are. That's why they're turning boys into girls. They're trying to turn girls into boys. They do all this crazy stuff.
Before he gets into that, I want to say that that's universal. Anytime you hold women accountable for anything, you're going to be seen as controversial. Even if you're telling women, hey, just put more clothes on if you want to be counted as Christian. It says in the Bible here, to be modest. You'll get backlash as a pastor, as a spiritual leader, for telling people you should dress more appropriately before you come into the church. That's insane to me. What are you even going to church for if you're not allowing your pastor to pass judgment on you?
And before he goes on to, that's why that clown Creflo Dollar, like his name is Dollar, and he panders to his women, to women in the church. Oh yes, you gonna let this man whatever? Yeah, but he tricked y'all to pay $29 million for a jet. Are you out your flipping mind? But yeah, y'all just wanna like they said, pray things away and feel that you feel good, but that's not helping nothing. Creflo Dollar, man, you going to hell.
He's supposed to be closer to the model you want to become in the future. If he's not allowed to tell you the things that you're doing right and wrong, then how are you ever going to expect to get better? That never made sense to me. So at some point, we lost that accountability in the church, or the church lost that accountability. And I think it was somewhere in maybe the mid 2000s when the church seemed to be more about money than it was about the people in the church. Oh, we'll accept you if you do this, or we'll accept you if you do that, because we want your money on Sunday. We want that tithes and offering. And if we say we don't agree with your behavior, you feel more shame and you're less likely to come to the church. So we're just going to say we accept all behavior as long as you're paying that tithes and offering.
Exactly.
And you can just go ahead and pray away whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
I'm very adamant about the men when it comes down to respecting the women. We
Thank
believe
you.
that the man should respect the woman. Do not
Mhm.
verbally abuse the woman, and don't by any means beat the woman. You can't even stay in our church if you're physically beating your woman. We
Exactly.
believe that you should be arrested and you
Exactly.
should be locked up. If you're
Exactly.
gonna have a child by a woman, have enough decency to take care of the
Get a
child.
child.
These seem
You know,
like
most
good
of our
morals
young
and
men
standards
today,
to me.
They're making babies. But it's not even in them. It's like they act like it's not even in their character to take care what they have.
Right.
So a lot of these women are what? They are single mothers, and they have become mother and father, and yet these type of men, many of them, still go to church, and these type of issues are not being addressed. Period. So no, we encourage our brothers, by all means, don't be out here with your pants hanging down, showing your drawers.
Thank you.
We're living in a society where this is so norm to see grown men. Hey man, when I came up, man, our pants was up.
Facts.
Our underwear, that's why it's called underwear.
Underwear.
It should be
Exactly.
under your clothes.
Facts.
Exactly.
I mean, these are all facts.
We have,
Exactly.
Kay, I know, Kay, you had a couple questions.
I
before
haven't
the
heard
break.
anything
Well,
wrong
just
yet.
had a
I haven't heard
comment about
anything.
verbal abuse. Calling women whores and prostitutes at the pulpit is a form of verbal abuse. I would just like to say that if you did not know. But what are your female clergies? What do they think about your remarks about women?
The women, I have mixed reaction internationally. There's a lot of women that agrees that, yeah, well, he's calling a spade a spade.
Thank you.
But you have
Or
some-
degrading. Do women find your remarks degrading?
oh yes, some find it degrading.
How about you, Kay? Do you find his marks?
It really
degrading?
doesn't. Well, my opinion would be I don't want it to, degrade you or say anything that would offend you, but I don't care what he thinks, so it doesn't matter to me.
Well, see, I respect that. She don't care what I think. But let
See how funny. You see how that works? See that? You see how that works? Criticize you. Oh, I don't care. Whatever. Oh. But then you're degrading women a lot of stuff. Then why you?
me ask a question. Do you have a daughter?
I do not.
You don't have a daughter.
But my grandmother, may she rest in peace, is she actually led the women in ministry, Lillian Fryer Webb.
Okay. If you had a daughter, would you rather have your daughter walk on the street half naked with her breast hanging out?
Of course not. I mean,
Exactly.
Why not?
I'm
then there you
a woman
go.
with certain morals and values, so I know how to dress. I know when is
Exactly.
But I think that if you're going to judge a woman and she's at your church and she decides to go there, and then you're criticizing her and demeaning her, that's not a form of helping.
You're doing sin. I'm trying to stop you to do the sin. What the?
Basically, I totally disagree. Criticism, there's constructive criticism. and
Constructive criticism is one thing, but to criticize and demean is different.
well, if you calling an individual by what they project to be, how is
Thank
that
you.
demeaning? That is not demeaning.
By how they dress, how do you know what they are on the inside?
No, basically, I am not
It's
saying
always that
they
inside.
are horrible
I know, right?
because of the way they dress. I'm talking about it is the appearance. If I came in here, let me make it a good example.
Okay.
Again, if I came in here and rings on every finger like the bling bling preachers and had my hair processed hanging down, and this loud blood red suit and purple shoes and an apricot shirt
We
and
would judge
a
you.
bright yellow tie, would you really believe I'm a man of God, or would you believe I'm just a straight up pimp and just went in church business to pimp?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Let me ask you something, because we have B Expo coming
Exactly.
up next Saturday. I hope you can come. It's $15. I mean, I think you have that money. I saw how
That's just calling a spade a
closely you were
spade.
staring at that picture as well.
I wouldn't think she's a Christian at all. If a woman is modest, she's not dressing in a manner.
The way Erica Campbell, she does mornings as well. And she, you know, she's a gospel singer from Mary, and she dresses like this. Do you have a problem the way Erica Campbell, a woman of the Lord, dresses?
Well, if I didn't know that she said she was a Christian, by looking at her clothes, hugging her body, I wouldn't think so.
There you go.
That's just calling a spade a
closely you were
spade.
staring at that picture as well.
I wouldn't think she's a Christian at all. If a woman is modest, she's not dressing in a manner that appears to be sexual, like she's drawing sexual attention to herself. A woman's body is sacred. The Bible speaks plain. Your body is the temple of the living God.
He talking.
And if our body, whether we are man or woman, if our body is a temple for the living God, then we should conduct our body in that manner. And when we walk in a public and people look at us, our women should not be on display. If you look at advertisement, what do they show you to get the product first? A female.
The woman.
Exactly.
To buy a soda, you got a female in a bathing suit.
He's
To
spinning.
get a car,
He's
you get a
spinning.
female in a bathing suit.
Yeah.
Our women have been displayed as looking at a sex object. So therefore, when they buy things, they think it make it look sexy. Listen, God made you to be beautiful, and you don't have to go to Walmart to buy it.
Speaking of beautiful,
Amen.
B Expo is going down. This is just it's a lot. We have
The breaking point for me for church was this. I was going to a church for about 18, 19 years. And when I say I was going to a church, it was mandatory in my family. That means you were there on Sundays, you was there on Wednesdays. Rain, sleet, or snow, and we in Minnesota, so it was a lot of snow. If you was dead, you'd be in there as a corpse. And for going to sleep in church, I would be grounded until the next Sunday. Church was very mandatory in my family. But one of the breaking points for me was the pastor that was the leader of the church had a first lady that he'd been married to for decades. There was a woman that came in. She was a drug addict and she needed a lot of help. And they helped her collectively, the first lady and the pastor. Fast forward about a year, the pastor divorces the first lady and then marries the woman that they helped rehab because he had been sleeping with her. And I'm not saying you have to be perfect as a pastor. I get it. Everybody's human. But if we're giving you money because you claim to be the messenger of God,
Exactly.
there are certain mistakes that you just have to be very careful of, or you're going to lose a lot of respect. He lost all of my respect. And Pastor Gino here, this is what it means to be a great pastor. Standing on your moral compass, no matter who says that you're wrong for doing it. Jesus Christ wasn't liked. And it's because he stood on his moral compass. Even when people were out being amoral, people were just doing whatever they wanted to do. Jesus still stood on his moral compass regardless. And I feel like the church lost that a lot. A lot of pastors, when their integrity was tested, when funds got low, they began to pander to single mothers and tell them anything that they do is okay just so they can continue to get the money.
And that's why I said with a Creflo Dollar guy. That's what I was saying that. Now, I want to, let me see if we can finish. There was another pastor I want to talk about, but I'm going to skip that one and try to get these other two videos in and call it a night. So, this right here, right? This is a woman breaking into a, again, remember, men are a-holes, women are vindictive.
It's breaking and entering. Breaking and entering.
That's definitely breaking and entering.
As you can see, look at my arm.
That you.
He did this.
I did that after you broke. You just broke the window.
That's crazy. What's up, YouTube Poor Man Podcast back?
Where your keys are at.
Look on the couch. I'll give you my keys.
Look at that. She
at.
broke the
Look
glass.
on the couch, Edwin.
She broke the glass.
She done lost the keys. How you going? That's like
And
when people try to rob
as she
places,
came
they
through the
walk.
glass.
Gotta come back.
What the heck?
Breaking and entering.
Definitely breaking and entering. Definitely.
As you can see, I'm looking for my keys now that he wouldn't give me.
Breaking and entering. All because I told her I was talking to other women.
All because I.
That pretty can't make up for that crazy.
That's exactly what I always say. Just because you're pretty doesn't mean that you are. You could look like a 10, no, a 9. I know there's no such thing as a 10 in my opinion. You could look like a 9, but man, that attitude and the way you think drop you down to a 1. And guys, that's why I said it. There's an example right here, and this is a lesson to you young guys about this, because I went through one close to this as well too. When Angers was getting up, and I said, because I know how the system is, I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go, because even if you attack me and I didn't do nothing, the cops will come and take me away and not you away.
It always amazes me how women can just get away with committing crimes against men and nobody bats an eye.
And again, like I've said, it was like this man right here, he's married. Preach, married. All these people are married people. They're just calling out what it is.
That's definitely breaking and entering. And if this was a man breaking into a woman's house, all hell would break loose. But
done.
The truth of the matter is he's handling it the best way he can.
Yes.
He's recording the situation to make sure she can't lie. He's staying cool, calm, and collected, and he's waiting for the police to get there. There's nothing else he can do. I always do these videos, and in the comments I have people saying, oh, he can defend his property. He has the right to defend his property. Yeah, that's in the world of shoulds. As men, we can't live in a world of should.
No.
He should have that right. But I'm going to tell you right now, if he touches this woman in any way, he's going to jail.
Exactly.
And in these situations, men don't really have a way to defend themselves. I remember there was a guy back in college that I knew. I spoke about him before, and he's probably watching these videos. I talk to him quite often. But he was in a situation where his ex-girlfriend stole his PlayStation 4. I think it was at the time. Maybe it was a PlayStation 4 at the time. And he called the police on her, and I made fun of him for that. To his face, I was like, bro, you shouldn't have called the police on her. That's absolutely ridiculous. Now, looking back in hindsight, I understand there's nothing else you can really do in that situation. Women just kind of have a free pass to just completely destroy your property. Look how many times women destroy cars, key in people's cars. It's just seen as crazy woman behavior, and nobody bats an eye. You just got to foot the bill for it. But, hey, that's just how it works. The best thing you can do is stay cool, calm, and collected. Make sure you collect evidence. And get ready for the police to come. And imagine.
And this is why I said with the video last week when I talk about the fathers, this is why I said that. When a guy was saying, oh, I should have never left or whatever, she could have tell some lies and make it worse, because it's he say, she say, and they're going to go with she more than he. Just saying that.
Being so dumb that you forget your keys at the crime scene. So now you got to come back. Because you can't drive away. You got to come back to get your keys after you done broke into somebody's house. That's absolutely ridiculous. Let's continue the video.
I couldn't get my keys. Actually, he broke the TV.
He threw
the container out the window.
Look, there goes the lie.
What? What?
Full of all this stuff that weighs probably like a cool 60 pounds.
Here comes the lies.
See?
Oh, I threw that one. Oh, okay.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Caught on candid camera, lying.
Wow, tearing my apartment apart now.
Look at my arm.
That you.
He did this.
I did that after you broke. You just broke the window.
That's crazy.
In my wrist.
The police are on their way.
Okay, well help me find my fucking keys. You wanted me out your house, right?
No, I want you to be here for when the police get here. So
Exactly. Dang.
I blood all over me.
Crazy bitch, because you broke my window. Ooh, I can't wait to move.
Bravo.
Wow, you real life crazy.
Exactly.
Order, Jit.
And the restraining order is correct.
He perfect.
I can't argue with that too.
Display of self-control.
Yep.
Right? She wanted him to go into an emotional outburst.
Exactly.
So that he can join her on her emotional streak, and he could ultimately lose the battle. You got to understand, women operate in the realm of emotions. They mastered their emotions, not in the sense that they control them all the time, but
they know how to use it.
Understand that their advantage in the world is being fragile. That's why she's lying. She's saying, oh, I got cut. I'm bleeding. This is that. The police come and they see her bleeding. She know that she can get a pass. And that's why I'm happy he's recording everything that's going on, because now she can't lie about that. They seen that she broke through the window. Without that recording, they just see a bleeding woman.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you got to make sure you protect yourself. And
Exactly.
Ever, and I see it happen all the time, allow a woman to get you to the point where you're getting so emotional that you're not thinking clearly. Because
Exactly.
that's the destruction of men.
Yeah.
Getting into an emotional state where you're not thinking clearly, that is the worst thing you could do as a man in these situations, because it oftentimes ends up with the woman winning. Her getting exactly what she wanted. And that is sometimes just to ruin your life.
Vindictiveness.
As you can see, this was obvious jealousy. She was only jealous because he started to talk to other women, and so she acted like a child. She went into his house, broke into his house, by the way.
Broke in,
and
yes.
destroyed his stuff. And
Yep.
there'll probably be no punishment for this. If I was to just go ahead and guess, give an educated guess, I'd say she probably ends up leaving the house and nothing ever seen about it. And he has to foot the bill for the hundreds of dollars of damage that happened in the house. So
In most cases.
that's just unfortunate. But
But again, happy that he took care of it that way. Smart how to do that. And I want to end on, like I said, hopefully my lights. I want to end on this. I'm not gonna go. I'll give a straight no chasers video about this, but I want to end on this because this is what I was saying. People were saying, "But again, deadbeat dads. If the dad's a deadbeat dad and he's not, and he really is not doing stuff, a real one, yes." But there are many men who try to be in their lives. So listen to this.
And for father is facing 180 days in jail for overpaying his child support and over visiting his 11-year-old son. His attorney and a community activist are now demanding answers. Randy Wallace joins us live with a story you'll see only on Fox. Randy?
Don, we all expect to see judges throw the book at fathers who fail to pay child support. But a father who says he's been doing the right thing now has an arrest warrant against him.
It's my responsibility to take care of it. You know, I brought him in this world. I have to.
Clifford Hall says he's more than happy to pay child support for his 11-year-old son.
I'm his father. You know, it's my responsibility to take care of it.
But Hall says when the amount of child support was modified, no one told him.
And I discovered that for some reason his employer was withholding a large amount some weeks, a small amount some weeks, zero amount some weeks.
And I didn't want to go to jail, basically.
So Hall quickly paid almost $3 grand in back child support. When Hall and his ex-wife were in Judge Lisa Millard's court last November, he owed nothing.
Opposing counsel testified twice that he's all paid up.
But the attorney representing the child's mother wanted Hall to pay her $3 grand in attorney fees.
What the fuck?
See how messed up that is?
And Judge Millard agreed. Court
Of
documents
course.
also reveal Hall wasn't following the court's scheduled times to pick up his son. Another modification he says he knew nothing about.
The judge ended up sentencing him to 6 months in jail.
When she said, remand you to the Harris County Jail for 180 days, my mouth just dropped.
This entire situation is shocking to me. I've never seen one like this.
Community activist Cornell X wants the state's judicial board to investigate.
The court failed the child. The court
Exactly.
failed Mr. Hall. The system broke down.
Exactly.
I can't do that for my son in jail.
Thank
I
you.
can't pay child support in jail. You know, this is not in the best interest of the child.
They don't care.
Judge Lisa Millard says Hall walked out of court after he was found in contempt, which she says is a big no-no. Judge Millard also points out Hall's attorney could have filed a motion for reconsideration. She says that would have allowed her to hear both sides again and reevaluate the situation. Hall's attorney is now working on an appeal, and in a few days, Hall plans to turn himself in, and Don will, of course, keep everybody posted on how this plays out.
It really is a strange situation.
Very, very, very strange. I mean, it kind of shows that sometimes these things can be changed, modified. Maybe one parent doesn't know, but it's very confusing, and you've got to wonder how this man could go to jail for this.
Okay, now you see it. Now you see. So that ends my night of stuff. So if you people want to understand why I do the show I do, and with the straight no chasers, and I talk about stuff, and you see what I say about how the politics affects that situation. That's why I say that. Okay? That's why I talk about stuff like that. Again, I'm not gonna protect any guy who does anything stupid, dumb, hurtful, whatever, abuse, like the pastor said. He's a jerk. I don't care if he's wearing his pants sagging and all that stuff. I never understood that. You young men need to understand that. That came from jail. That means that you were not a man. That literally means that you are a man's tool, which is not good. But for some reason, I saw one today when I went to the grocery store. I saw a guy have his pants all the way down to his thigh and his underpants. He's like his butt, his thigh. I'm like, why? Why? Put up your damn pants. But you know what? That's what I say. I don't respond to that. But I am going to talk about men issues in that regard because this is messed up. We need to talk about it. Let the younger men lower than me. Because if I have a son, I want him to understand, like I said before, go through those waters so you don't avoid them sharks. If I have a girl, I want her to know how it should be and avoid guys and hopefully find a guy like me that will take care of you and be a nice person for you and all that stuff. But I also want my female and my son, I want both son and my, I'm going to teach them. One, keep your hands to yourselves. Both of y'all, do not think that what it is. Self-defense is self-defense, but keep your hands to yourself. And both of y'all should be independent adults. Right? Get your own house, get your own car, do stuff like that. And then it should be, when you go into a relationship, it should be a journey together. It might not be 50-50, but it should be at least something where it's a kind of relationship where we could play off each other. Okay? That's what we should be talking about right now. And also, don't have a child before you marry. Don't do that. Both of them. If you want to and basically to continue what I have, because again, my mom was a single mom. You know, my father was there, but my mom was single now. But you know what she said? She said, "I don't want no woman to take advantage of you. She don't want no woman to take advantage of me." She said that, and also she knows how hard it was. She said, "I don't want that to my daughter. She don't want my sister to be a single mom. None of that. She knows what it is." She said it was hard, and I don't want y'all to go through this. That's why she's happy, and that's why me and my sister break the statistic. Again, we're the anomaly. We're the exception of the rule, though. That two of us are graduated. We're high school graduated, college graduated, came out of college graduated, got jobs in our fields. No restaurants, no kids, no craziness. We did that. And I want to continue that with the person I'm with and pass it on to my kids so there don't be no generational problem. I want them to be a stable relationship, stable. They see their mother and their father, whatever. And that's how I want it to be. So I'm going to go on the side of the men more. Sorry, just what it is. I wear my bias on the sleeve. I'm not going to lie to anybody else. But if a guy does something stupid or ridiculous, I have videos going against men. I have video like the guy who spent a lot of money just because he want to entertain women. I say, you're a jabroni. You're a dumbass. You're dumb. PJ Washington, you're a dummy. To go with Brittany Weiner, you're a dummy. Idiots. So I will test men, whatever, but if that's what you're talking about, that's what you get. And basically the camera light is going down, so I apologize for that. But thank you guys for staying in here with me. Wow, we got up to 360. Jeez, thank you guys. Hope you guys have a good night. Catch y'all tomorrow for PragerU side chat. Maybe another Project My Special, whatever again. Thank you for giving me your time and air. Peace out. Remember, evil comes in all shapes, color, size, and creed, height, gender, sex. Wait, evil's evil. And remember, like I'm telling you, like Ayana said, to help our brothers. People are stupid. Individuals are smart. Be a smart individual. Peace out. Have a good night.